bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome. What's going on? Wagwan, my youth. What's going on? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I know I'm late. Forgive me. I was coming. I'll tell you what happened in a minute. But thank you all for tuning in to this brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all the latest that's going on in celebrity news, gossip, entertainment, all the celebrity tea. We talk about it on this here show. So before we get started, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, Chad, the reason why I was late because a friend of mine just sent me a message in a group chat, and he was like, it was a story about possibly, child, look, I don't want to say like we was calling it, but according to Us Weekly, they said that Ben Affleck that moved out the house and Jennifer Lopez and him might be filing for divorce. So I had to go and pull up that topic real quick. I already had everything set up. I was literally about to go live in a minute because that's, I set the whole thing up with StreamYard where it's like you set the time when you want to actually go live and everything. So the minute I was about to go live, something was like, Chris, check your messages. I went and I looked. He sent me this damn thing. I said, God damn. So I had to go in real quick and I had to update the YouTube, the topic list, which you can see all the topics that we're going to talk about when you go on the YouTube channel. If you're watching it there, it's all in the description. And I had to update it in my when I'm doing on the computer. So like when I bring up the lower thirds and the banners and all this stuff, I pretty much know which topic I'm going to go to next. So I set everything up like, that's the Virgo me. I got to have everything laid out and everything, So I had to add that real quick and figure out, okay, so where does that topic flow within the already set up topic list? And so that's basically, it took me about a couple of minutes to get all that done. But nevertheless, we're here. We're queer. We ain't going nowhere. So yeah, we're here. I'm ready to get the show started. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today. It's like, I was not thinking it was going to be busy, but apparently it is. We got to talk about this DJ Akademiks R and SA accusations and stuff that's coming out. He did speak out about it, which I think was dumb on his part. You should let your lawyers handle it. But you know how these arrogant ass people are. They really think they're above the law, and I believe he's guilty. So, but that's just me. So we're going to talk about the Akademiks accusations and all this stuff. We're going to talk about one of the former members of all that, Beth Denberg, who, in my opinion, was like actually one of my favorite characters from that show. I loved Beth when she was on the show. She's coming out with some accusations about Dan Schneider. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk about what I had already told you guys about. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck apparently are rumored to be heading for divorce and how he's moved out of the compound or other stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen with that house they were supposed to be trying to buy together in New York. I think it was a brownstone. But anyway, so now Lizzo is speaking out in support of Palestine, Sudan, and the Congo, because a lot of people want to talk about Palestine, but a lot of y'all do be forgetting about the genocide that's currently going on in Sudan and the Congo. So she's going to be talking about that. Plus, she's showing solidarity and support for the college protesters, unlike that old big-headed bitch, Hillary Clinton, who want to sit up in here and talk down to kids like they dumb. But anyway, so we got that. Plus, we're going to dive deeper into the whole GLAAD Media Awards and all that drama that happened where there was a couple of drag activists and members of ACT UP who protested inside the ceremony, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I did play the clip the other day when I was just randomly talking about it. It was like a little side comment. I talked about it a little bit, but we'll break down the whole thing even more because now we have a story to go along with it. Plus, what else? Oh, Cardi B, child, she went on a whole rant yesterday talking about how she not dropping her second album because the fans keep going in and throwing shade at her and clowning her over the fact that she keep dropping release dates and don't never deliver. So she's out here beefing with her own damn fans. I call her ass ungrateful for that. But we're going to say my full opinion on that when we talk about it. Young Miami, child, speaking of people taking things for granted, she out here trying to pander to the gays with her The Gays merch collection. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Kim Kardashian out here playing a damn victim because, she was booed at the Tom Brady roast. And she's comparing her getting booed to being abused. Girl, you don't know what real abuse is. And maybe she does, because she was married to that madman, Kanye West, for how long? Like a good 4 or 5 years. Plus, speaking of the woman that referred to Kanye as a madman, Wendy Williams, apparently her penthouse has been sold, her $4.5 million penthouse, and her court-appointed guardian sold it under the price of what it should have been, she should have gotten the money for. So we're going to talk about the whole salation of the situation. Plus, James Wright Chanel served Chrisean with legal papers at a football game over alleged assault. Damn, I forgot to add the Tyrese one because he was another one that was dodging and ducking assault. Papers being delivered to him. So we'll probably say that one for tomorrow because that's not on the docket. It's way too many topics for us to get to. Plus, Zayn Malik wants to reunite with his One Direction bandmates 10 years after quitting the group. Kelly Clarkson is talking about how she really lost weight because she said it was drinking a lot of water, walking around, and diet and exercise. Child, she was out here doing them drugs like Ozempic and whatever the other stuff everybody's using. And there's a couple of people that was using the weight loss things. Whoopi Goldberg was using it. Charles Barkley was using it. There's a lot of people out here that's been using the weight. I wouldn't even be surprised. Oprah too. I would be surprised if Gail did because, Gail's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Looking good, by the way. And her little two-piece bikini. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gail was on that same stuff her scissor sister Oprah's on. Plus, and we got this clip that I thought would be really good to talk about. Tina Knowles is opening up about why she feels that her daughter Beyonce educating her fans through the music scares her as Beyonce's mother. And I totally get it because it's like when it's one of your kids and you out here putting your life and yourself, situate yourself on the line to change the world and make it a better place. It's like you would be concerned, especially with all the backlash Beyonce's been getting and that is it really underlining racism when people flat out come out and say things like, oh yeah, it kind of is an underlining because I haven't heard nobody call her the N-word, but a lot of the undertones that have been coming out about Beyonce doing the country album, I do feel like people have been, the racism is there. We definitely sense it. We people of color, we are good at, picking up, the signs and I was looking for the word microaggressions. It finally came to me. We're good at finding some microaggressions and stuff. Plus, we got some drag race beefs. Two people are beefing. So we got Kimchi and Eureka O'Hara are beefing on social media because Eureka appeared on Very Delta. She said something about Kimchi. Kimchi clapped back. We got the clips. We got all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Willem is finally explaining. I think she's talked about it before, but she never really got this candid. But now we know because she spoke up where her beef with RuPaul went wrong. So Willem got her situation with RuPaul that she finally opened up about, and Kimchi out here beefing with Eureka. So we got two big queens fighting, and we got Willem and RuPaul fighting. So we got that and a whole lot more. Plus, I'm sure if there's anything that comes out that's breaking news, y'all could definitely let me know what's the tea in the comments. And I see we got a couple, but before we get to the topics, let me hit my banner and let me see what these comments are. So how you doing? Lizzo can think. Well, I was about to say that, what, I feel, I'll save that for the thing, but I do, because there's some things I'm like, okay, I see you, Lizzo, but then on the other hand, I'm feeling the cynical side of me is coming out as like, girl, you jumping on this whole situation because you kind of been canceled by people because of accusations with you at the club out in Germany or whatever, and the bananas in the vagina and making people in your camp feel uncomfortable because I went to that party. I think it was like a sex party type situation, and people that was working with you took. So I'm kind of of two minds about it, but I'll save my thoughts for when we do this, when we get to that topic. And I saw in Peru a transgender non-binary people are. Well, look, once upon a time, they were considered that way in America, right? But now we're still at a place where there's parts of the world that still look at people who are trans, non-binary, queer of any kind as being mentally ill. Because at one point, gays were considered mentally ill until, we had, what was it, Masters and Johnson or the medical industry and whatever declared that that's not true. So, I definitely need a Red Bull chill because I was tired. I was literally up till 4. Like, I worked last night. Shout out to the Knicks because they slaughtered, the other team. I don't even want to mention them. Fuck them. But the Knicks definitely kicked ass last night. It was crazy at that game. It was a late game because it was on, I think they were on TNT. So TNT, they had to start at 8 o'clock. And a lot of us, when we do these things, a lot of people don't realize is we're at the mercy of the network. So we have to start whenever the networks are ready to broadcast and all this other stuff. So all the schedules depends on television, the networks, and when they want to air certain things. And that was a crazy game last night. So I was tired. I got in. I was like, okay, so now let me stay up and work on these topics late at night. So I didn't go to bed at 4 in the morning. And then I was trying to get some sleep. And then my friend called me to tell me some tea about how he was hanging out with, and we're supposed to get to the show. He was hanging out with Bo DeMayo last night because, last night was the finale of X-Men 97. And he said that he hung up because, first of all, he told me that he already hit Bo up a couple of weeks ago. It was like, because my friend is a photographer, and was like that he wants to do a shoot with him. And Bo was like, yeah, that they can work something out. They'll do a shoot together, which I hope they do because Bo is fine, child, and that body is bodying. So he was at some type of event or whatever where there was a Q&A, a bunch of nerd type shit that was going on there. I think it was like some sort of, they said it was kind of like a Star Wars cantina type of vibe or whatever the case was in LA. And he was there. And he said the irritation for him was that everybody was asking all these questions about why he killed Gambit and all this other stuff, or Remy Gambit, asking all those really deep dive into the character type of stuff, except asking what we really want to know. Why the fuck was he fired? Like, that's what we really want to know. Why was Bo DeMayo fired from X-Men 97? And why is he not coming back? Like, that's the team we want to know, but nobody asked that. I'm like, really? We considering people feelings in 2024? It's like, no, I'm nosy. And say, if I was there, I would have asked him. I'm like, why would you fire him? Because people out here spreading rumors. Like, some people trying to say that he was dealing with a young boy or whatever. I don't believe that's the case. So, or I've heard stories that that Disney was trying to get him to work with people who weren't really big on the source material, understanding like what's the whole behind the scenes and getting into the lore of the X-Men and all that. So I don't really know. Like, that's the look. If ever I run into Bo DeMayo, that's gonna be my top question. My first question I'm gonna ask him: why they find you? Just between us girls. And then I was like, I won't tell nobody. No, full on well, I'm gonna come on here and spill it all. Because I gotta tell the people. And be like, don't worry about it, trust. I said, I won't tell them that you told me. I'll say somebody told me. Somebody told me. Yep. Yes. Play thank you, Amy. Maybe we should start calling Kim Amy from now on. I mean, don't her daughter do it? Miss North, South, East, and West. How you doing, Default? Welcome to the show. Okay. So let's get to our first topic. Let's talk about DJ Akademiks, this old chipmunk looking mother flower. That's an ugly ass chair. And first of all, I truly believe every word of all this because DJ Akademiks do not give me that he can get pussy on his own accord. Like, he literally looks like he gotta actually SA somebody, or some of you girls out here just, oh, I just need to bag somebody with some money because I know he got I know he got some coin, but you don't really love him. You just with him because he got money. And maybe you can get a baby out of him with some sense of security, kind of like Shawnee O'Neal with Shaq, because you can't tell me that she loved him. And look, she said it her damn self, but I know Shawnee trying to say all this other side shit. I'm like, girl, please, you saw an opportunity. You thought you was gonna get some type of protection, safety. You was gonna be set for life, and then you did all of that. And then you ain't get what you wanted to get out the relationship, and you was wondering why. So it took you getting with that pastor who telling people to hush because he want to have his little church moment for you to find love. But this ain't about Shawnee. This is about Akademiks. So apparently he's in the hot seat, but this came out months ago, but now it's starting to gain traction because Rolling Stone, of course, whenever it comes to these assault allegations and stuff, Rolling Stone be up in there ready to like really give a full-on expose and dive deep into what's going on. So he's in a hot seat after his ex-girlfriend filed a R-word lawsuit against him, but he isn't going down without a fight. The controversial media personality recently claimed that if he does go down for the allegations, he said he's going to take the entire rap industry down with him. So I hope I'm not going to butcher her name. If I do, I sincerely apologize. Fozia Abashe, I think is her name, claims that she was assaulted multiple times at the internet personality's home, first by the two men who drugged her, and then by Akademiks himself. But they're saying the two men who drugged her apparently happened to be friends of Akademiks. Now, Abashe alleges that on July 16th, 2022, Allen contacted her, and because his name, I believe, is Livingston Allen. Child, if that ain't a West Indian name, I don't know what to tell you. Now, you can't get no more West Indian than naming somebody some damn Livingston. Now, anyway, so it said that on July 16, 2022, Allen contacted her and invited her to his house in New Jersey, not suspecting any ill intentions, even though they allegedly hadn't seen each other for almost a year. Now, when Abashe arrived, however, she was met by two men identified as John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, whom she did not expect to be there. Abashe claims the two men drugged her drink and plied her with alcohol before assaulting and R-wording her in Allen's pool deck. Abashe says the drugs impacted her memory and caused her to lose consciousness. According to the suit, she claims that she was later woken up at around 4 in the morning on July 17, 2022, in a bedroom by Allen, who was pulling her hair, prying open her legs, and brutally R-wording her. She claims Abashe accuses Allen of penetrating her through her back door and in her front door, and says that she was begging him to stop and crying for almost, I'm changing the words as I'm reading this because, with YouTube, there's certain algorithm or certain words you can't say or whatever. So look at me editing myself. But anyway, so it said, okay, so they said that she was begging him to stop and crying for most of the assault, but losing her ability to move physically. The following day, according to the lawsuit, Abashe asked Allen for details about what happened the previous night. He allegedly showed her a trash can that contained two condom wrappers, which suggested that Abashe that after the alleged pool deck attack, the two John Does had taken her into another room in the house and continued to R-word her brutally. Abashe also claimed that Allen showed her surveillance footage of the alleged pool deck attack. According to Ms. Abashe, as she watched the video, she looked like she was just lying there lifeless, which did not sit right with her. This is all according to the suit. Now, according to text messages included in the lawsuit, later that day on July 17th, Allen told Abashe to get tested and said he would do the same. Abashe said she found the statement odd, and the suit argues that the text was proof that Allen, who had not slept with Miss Abashe for over a year, engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with her that night. Allen did not reply to a request to comment for this article. After contacting her lawyer, well, of course he's not going to comment because his lawyers probably advised that against him. But then it didn't stop him from going on social media to go and say what he wanted to say on his own, show. Which we're gonna play that clip in a second, but I just want to let everybody know the details of what happened in case y'all haven't heard. So after contacting her lawyer for advice, Abashe went to the police. The authorities first told her to visit the hospital for a R-word kit, which she did. The kit purportedly led to the discovery of traces of Allen's sperm, she claims. Abashe then spoke with the authorities in person, and photographs were taken of bruises on Abashe's arm, back, buttocks, and legs. Abashe first sat for a recorded wire call with Allen, during which she claimed Allen graphically recounted and admitted to having sexual intercourse with her, even going as far as to describe what her coochie looked like. This led to cops to obtain a warrant for the surveillance footage and other evidence. Abashe later claimed that Allen disposed of several items, bed sheets, etc., at the dumpster near his office. Presumably, Mr. Allen was attempting to destroy the evidence of Miss Abashe's R-word. Now, despite taking her allegations to the police, Abashe chose silence per the lawsuit and ostensibly decided not to press charges. Her decision to bring the lawsuit comes after the allegations were brought to light at the end of 2023 after both she and Allen addressed the incident on social media. Allen denied assaulting Abashe, and on December 30th, 2023 video claimed he was asleep at home while the two John Does allegedly assaulted her on the pool deck. Acknowledging the surveillance footage of the alleged attack, he said she was getting trained by my two men's on my pool. He literally said that. She's getting trained by his two men's on my pool deck. The suit alleges Allen defamed Abashe by accusing her of voluntarily having an orgy with his friends at his home. But when you start phrasing things a certain way, this is how I said, I believe every word that what he did. And then let's not even forget, this is the same clown that went on social media a couple of years ago, and I seen people pull them damn tweets up, and people, when it comes to receipts, the sleuths will get on social media and they will pull your shit up. This is the same one that said about Bad Baby at 15, damn, she got big titties for a 15-year-old. This is what a grown-ass man was saying about a young girl. Yeah, she got her OnlyFans and she a mother and everything now, but you should not be up in here sexualizing an underage girl talking about her titties and all that other stuff on social media, thinking that shit is cute. Because we know Akademiks is the type of person that loves saying controversial shit for attention. So with that being said, he went on social media and said this. Please hold.
Y'all know I love to talk. I chat shit all day. I talk about people business and I talk about my business. I want to say everything. But I also have to remember that my lawyers are there for a reason. Again, this is not a criminal situation. I know people are taking this to be some new situation. This situation allegedly happened over 2 years ago or about 2 years ago, something like that. This is not some new shit. This is the shit that I first brought to light by my own recognition. Like I brought it to light. But I'm going to tell you why I brought it to light over 6 months ago and only now the lawsuit's being filed. And this is all I want y'all can take this, whatever you think about it. I'll even be transparent as, you know, I'm excited to see how this court shit happens. I'm excited. You know why? I didn't do nothing. So, okay, let's see it. And by the way, I'm pretty sure all the, you know, all these outlets that have covered, Accuses gotten sued. I hope you guys keep up with the step-by-step of how this looks, because sometimes the headline and the accusation oftentimes makes a man, especially a black man, look guilty. And no matter what he does, even if he beats the shit, even if, by the way, and it's nothing to beat because it's a civil thing, no one comes back around and says, damn, we actually fucked this nigga up and said all type of shit about him for no reason. So let's do a little timeline. I spoke about some, and I got to be kind of vague. Again, my lawyers don't want me to speak at all, but I do want you to understand the gravity of what's going on. I spoke about this in January. No, in December. There was some again, I can't talk about certain shit, but I spoke about it in January. I then got threats of a lawsuit because, remember, the police wants nothing to do with this. They're saying there is no crime. The cops have said, peace. There ain't no crime that we could prove. That's what they've said. We're out of this. Okay. My lawyers have been ready for a possible lawsuit. We get it. We're in the time of the shakedown. Here's what's going to be interesting. And again, I'm going to be vague, but people in the chat, y'all be smart. Okay, I got to be vague for certain type of litigation reasons because I don't want, when I meet with my lawyers, they say, why the fuck did you do this? I don't want them to play this stream clip, okay? Do you know who's the lawyer representing whoever against me? Y'all know the lawyer? Who y'all think that lawyer is? Could it be a lawyer that I've covered? Maybe with like about 3-4 Diddy cases, maybe with the T.I. case. Could it be a lawyer that not so long ago I did a stream putting up on the screen saying that lawyer might be out here trying to shake people down for money? Could it be that lawyer that's representing in this case? I'm asking a question. Could it be that lawyer? I don't even want to open the article, but could it be that lawyer? Could it be that lawyer? Could it be, chat, that lawyer, if he was supposedly representing some individual that had whatever claims about me, could it be that I said, and this was public 6 months ago, and that lawyer did not file a lawsuit until yesterday? Let me tell you why. That lawyer, could it be, let me say, because now I got to be very careful. Could it be, is it possible that person who really seen the money grab was really the Diddy stuff, and who was the biggest nigga covering the Diddy stuff? Who would that be? So when I was doing, and I'm doing just regular journalism, and I'm not looking into it like that, but it's doing allegedly his bidding. Y'all know I love to talk. I chat shit all day. I talk about people business and I talk about my business. I want to say everything. But I also have to remember that my lawyers are there for a reason. Again, this is not a criminal situation.
Okay, so I think he's repeating. I mean, that was just it playing back again, or whatever. First of all, I don't believe nothing that come out this man's mouth. First of all, anybody that breathe heavy and they not sleeping, like you sound like you snoring when your ass awake. I'm not taking what you got to say at face value. Academics has made a career out of talking shit about celebrities in a way where it's going to get him punched in the mouth for eons, and it has nothing to do with like we all do this stuff. We all play in the space of doing celebrity news and gossip, but there's a way that you go about it. He's just as messy in the way he does what he does as someone like a Trashy K. I don't like her either. I don't like the way she moves. I don't like the type of shenanigans that a lot of y'all be trying to pull just so y'all can have a moment and y'all can go viral. There's a way that you can go and do constructive criticism of celebrities and break things down in a logical way without trying to be as messy as he has. And he has said so much shit about celebrities over the years, including Carisha and a whole bunch of other people, being misogynistic, being nasty, being disgusting, and the way he delivers a lot of the stuff that he says, but be hiding out in his compound or whatever, and or surrounding himself in security because he know the motherfuckers will go and beat his ass into the damn ground. So that's why he says what he says. Now, regardless of, even if you like, let's say could it possibly, like, let's play into that little situation with him. So he's saying that he didn't do any of the stuff, you know, that she's claiming that he did. Didn't even acknowledge who the woman was. Wouldn't even say her name. He goes, the person. Motherfucker, you know who the person is. Stop playing in people's face. Now, when you say all of that, even if you had nothing to do with what was going on up in your house, if you have people that you know are in your place, on your property, assaulting someone who you was in a relationship with and you sat there and did nothing, you are partially to blame because they were in your house committing these crimes. This is on your property. This is under your situation. So yeah, because nobody knows who John Doe number 1 and John Doe number 2 is. Nobody gives a fuck who they are. I mean, they're going to care who they are when they ass go to jail. And possibly you going to be sitting right beside them in cell block 8. But you need to also put it out there where it's just like, even if you had nothing to do with it, you are guilty by association because you're the bigger name. You are the celebrity. You are the person that people know. And it shouldn't matter that, you know what, us bloggers, since a lot of us are playing in that space where we're becoming just as famous as the people we talk about, because now we're seen as the face and the public figures, and we have the responsibility when we're delivering the tea to the people that's watching. Whenever we get into some shit, like if I was to get into some shit, if I was accused of sexual assault, what could I say? I can only come up here and defend myself in situations. But if it makes the news, I'm a part of that world now because I'm the person that does the hot topics who has become the hot topic. Shout out to Wendy Williams. Because remember, at one point she was doing the hot topic and then she became the hot topic. Still is becoming the hot topic. We have a hot topic about Wendy coming up in the show later on. So I believe every word. Now hold on, because I gotta play this Saucy Santana clip. Almost forgot how to wait. Ooh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Hold on. Oh yeah, I got it. I was trying to transfer one to another. I almost forgot how to do it.
6'9" freaky bitch. Nasty tail. And what would make you think we believe that it's fake lawyers? What would make you think we believe that these are fake headlines? But when it was Carisha, bitch, the word was bond. It was no motherfucking way. Pink cocaine and all this other weird ass shit. But bitch, we supposed to believe that shorty lying on you? I don't think so. Not gonna happen. Midget bitch. Sit down all motherfucking day. You just smell like sand. Sand. Been sitting in that motherfucking seat. All motherfucking laundry. That's what you smell like. That's why the girl 6'9" freaky bitch.
Hold on. So now there's another one. Because he went, not only that one, then he went in here. Academics, where your page? Because, you know, after the whole situation, we were talking about, oh, I got nothing to hide, all this other stuff. All of a sudden, his Instagram, you go over there, it's gone. I heard the Twitter is still around, but the IG is gone. So now, Saucy's still trolling. Because, you know, he got to come out. Chill. Why somebody write, I thought this was Loretta Devine. I hate y'all. But anyway, let's play the clip.
Why y'all page? You was on here messing with Carisha every day. She ain't deactivated. I'm looking for Akademiks page. We're sorry. Bring that ass here, boy. You should have deactivated when you was messing with that lady, got that lady drunk on top of that lady and all that. Ew. Nasty. Now you gone. We can't find you. Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? You ain't gonna deactivate for that lawsuit. That lady said that you raped her. That is nasty. That is nasty. Imagine Mickey Mouse on top of you when you wake up. Him, Goofy, and Daffy Duck. Just on top of a bitch. Coochie saw from a midget dick pumping like a dog on her all night. Ugh. Bati boy, where your page? Where your page? You was on here messing with Chrisean every day. She ain't deactivated.
No, she did not call him a Bati, but well, look, I guess he's Jamaican, so that's turnabout's a fair game, as they say. But anyway, so I just wanted to post all of it up there because it was like, you know what, Akademiks, you be out here trolling people. The energy you put out in the world, you should not be surprised that you're getting that energy back. So with that being said, I will be keeping you guys abreast of this story as it develops because I'm sure it's not going anywhere. Once this shit goes to trial, I'll be following it. We be following that Trump trial. We gonna follow this one. And we're going to see what's going to become of it because I think this lady got a case. Now, if she got enough evidence or whatever and they got the pictures of the bruises and they were able to get the surveillance footage and all this other stuff, they're able to get that, then, you know, I will definitely be here keeping track of this whole situation. But with that being said, so we can wrap this up, let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Do y'all believe Akademiks is guilty? Do you think this is a long time coming because he be out here trolling people? You know, his fans are going to be his fans and they're going to follow him wherever, and that's fine. But, you know, when you become the hot topic, we got to talk. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments, and Default says he's had time to think about what to say since others have already been held accountable. Well, look, I believe this lawsuit came out. I mean, this was floating around since last year, and now that I guess they've had their I's dotted and T's crossed, and they've been able to, you know, with cases, a lot of people, it takes time for these things to get where they need to go. Like a lot of times, it takes 3 years for a case to go to trial. So when he goes up, oh, why don't somebody say nothing about it? A lot of times they be gaslighting because they think people don't know the law, but this has been going around for a while, and it kind of just like went quiet, probably because she was speaking with the lawyers and they were getting everything ready so that way they can pounce on his ass and really take this shit to the next level, which is where we got it now. So Akademiks out here trying to act like he trying to play everybody like they stupid. Because I hate us figs because we assume Bad Bunny is. Oh, I did see that story. I saw that story about Bad Bunny, and damn, I should have brought that. You know what? I'm gonna do a show tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about that because I already got the topic set up. I did see a story that was floating around. I was trying to decide if I should bring this in, but I was like, I don't want to do another show. I mean, who knows? This show might probably be another 3 damn hours. But I was like, let's save that for tomorrow. Also, I saw an article about Anthony Porowski is speaking up about Queer Eye and admitting that they've been butting heads and stuff on set, like their brothers, whatever the case is. We'll say that for tomorrow too. But yeah, I did see that picture. There was there was an article going around about Bad Bunny and people making assumptions about his sexuality. But I feel like people have been making assumptions about Bad Bunny's sexuality for a long time. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I saw Ricky Martin on The View because he was promoting that show that he has on Apple TV, which I need to freaking get around to watching. But I'm so backed up on shows. And there's so many shows that's on TV that I'm trying to catch up on and get. Look, I still haven't finished Fallout. I still haven't even finished, oh my God, The Last Airbender, Avatar. I still haven't finished that. I'm like 3 episodes left to watch that season. So I be behind when it comes to shows. Or sometimes I get in the mood, like I'll watch a couple of episodes of this show, then it's like, okay, I'm bored. I need to watch something else. Or I don't want to sit and watch the whole thing. So I play TV hopscotch sometimes with shows. Or when I'm not in the mood, or I think I spend way too much time on YouTube because I'm trying to like, okay, what's going on? What's going on in the celebrity news, the gossip world? What's all this? So I spend more time doing that and then working and then so many other things going on. I really don't be having time to invest as much in TV shows as I should. But I was sitting there like, well, why is Ricky Martin the only one that's in the Latin pop space? He's the only one that's out of the closet. I know he's not the only damn one. So why is it that he's the only one that's come out and he still has a significantly great career and still getting opportunities, but it's like everybody else scared. So I be wondering, Because, girl, you know there's a couple of y'all. One just had a baby. Shout out to you, Colombian pop singers. One worked with the one that worked with Madonna twice, 3 times. Did I give y'all enough hints? But anyway, let's move on and talk about all that. So let me close. First of all, let me close all this shit. Okay, so we've been talking about the whole Dan Schneider situation and Quiet on Set, and everybody's been coming out giving their side of the story and spilling tea about their time on the set. Some people have said they went through some things, and there were some people that said that I didn't experience what they experienced, but I stand in solidarity, and I don't discount their feelings and what they went through at the time they were on the show. That was like, I was watching the Inside of You show with Michael Rosenbaum, and he be having some great celebrities on there. I love that podcast. I saw one that he did. He did one with Ski Ulrich, where I think a lot of people need to watch. He did one with Devin Sawa, which I thought was really good. He also even did one with the guy from Gen V that passed away. I didn't even know he was British. He had an English accent. The one that died in the motorcycle accident. He did an interview with him, and then also with oh my God, what's his name? Edward Furlong. That was another good one. So he began some really good interviews, and he did one with James Marsders, who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's why I'm gonna link this in with the Lori Beth thing, because they were asking him, he said, all the things that came out about Joss Whedon, did you experience that? He said that at one point because Spike was not initially supposed to be on the full season. He was only signed to a 3-episode situation, and they were going to kill him off. But because the way he did that character, Warner Brothers said, no, they want to keep Spike on the show. And it pissed off Joss Whedon because Joss wanted to kill off his character, and he's like, you're dead, and all this other stuff, and threw him up against a wall and all this other craziness, because he was like, that I guess he got pissed because it's like, I'm the writer and the creator of this show, and I had this initial idea of what I want to do with you, but you can't get to the actor, because sometimes like what you write in a script, the actor will sometimes, without you even realizing it, or it's unexpected, they will take that to another level that you wasn't expecting. It's like, well, damn, I was trying to kill this motherfucker. Same thing with Steve Urkel. Jaleel White wasn't supposed to be on Family Matters for the whole series, but he was so good as Urkel, and the fans was like, they love that character, that ABC was like, oh, y'all better add him to the show, make him recurring, or put him in the marquee, make him a part of the show, which pissed off a lot of the actors, because they were like, this show was supposed to be one thing. I'm like, yeah, but girl, if y'all would have kept Family Matters as what it was, y'all wouldn't have lasted past season 1. So y'all better thank, no shade, but you need to thank your lucky stars that Jaleel White came in, because he saved this show. I'm not saying that James Marsders saved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but he brought something else to the show that wasn't initially, the situation. So what he said was that when he was asked about any of the stuff that a lot of people were saying, Chris Carpenter, a couple of people came out and said some stuff about working with Joss Whedon. He says, I'm not going to not value what their experiences were. So it's the same thing with, the people that worked with, Dan Schneider. Not everybody dealt with the things that he made them deal with, but it's like, I'm not going to deny them their experience. If they said that's what happened, then that's what happened. So all that cast member, Lori Beth Denberg, who, if I pick him back in the day, because I grew up during that time of all that and stuff, I love me some Kenan and Kel, but Lori Beth, bitch, when I tell you she was my favorite, I loved her as the lunch lady. Like, her character, like, I loved her on all that. Like, she was like one of my favorite characters on that show. So anyway, she is accusing Dan Schneider of showing her porn, initiating phone sex, and more when she was just a teen. Denberg started all that for 4 seasons between 1994, I should say, and 1998. I was going to try to cut corners, be like, 94. I'm like, y'all know 94. Let's just say it as it is. So they said Schneider was a head writer on the series. Denberg gave an interview to Business Insider in which she detailed the alleged situation Schneider put her in. Now, according to Denberg, it was around her 19th birthday in 95 when Schneider asked for a meeting with her and allegedly showed her clips of porn on his computer. She said the grand finale of the clips was one that depicted a woman performing a baloney wash on a donkey. So apparently he's into bestiality. She said, I feel like that was the first time he preyed on me. This is what she told Business Insider. This is not the first time that Schneider has been accused of showing porn. or someone he worked with on Nickelodeon. During an episode of Investigation Discovery's docuseries Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, Jenny Kilgan, a writer on The Amanda Show, also claimed that Schneider showed writers porn on his computer during work in order to see how far can I push this person. And that has been the overall accusation that a lot of people have been saying that happens with him, is that he's someone who is like, I want to see how far I can push you, that I can, do things to really get under your skin. And I feel like that's what he was more or less doing. Nobody ever accused you of sticking your fingers in nobody or sexually assaulting them or whatever the case is. People have said that you have done some inappropriate shit on this show to see how far you could push people's buttons. And it wasn't just the actors that he was doing this to. It was like the network that he would do certain things, like you making Ariana Grande pour water all over herself, like I would say waterboarding, but we all know that looked like it probably had to do with some peeing on her, like simulating that, water sports or whatever the case was, or sucking on her toes and trying to squeeze juice out of a potato or whatever, which looked like she was giving it a hand job. Like there were certain things that he would do and try to mask it in other ways to see like, oh, you know what this really is, but we're going to mask it as something else as a way that we can get see how far we could push it past the censors, because you had to kind of do trickery and all the others. Now everybody's direct with stuff, and it's either you get it on TV or not, or people see through the stuff. But now with social media, it's hard to try to get around that. But back then, social media really wasn't a thing, so you could do certain things and people were just so oblivious, we didn't realize what the real situation was, because Hollywood tried to pretend it's this liberal situation, but they're far more conservative than they want to let people, that they let on. So by this, I totally believe everything that she's saying. And Dan Schneider always gave me like, he looked like Chester the Molester. I mean, I'm talking about look wise. He looked like a pervert. Or he got to do some crazy stuff. So they said Schneider noted in the statements of Variety that the writer of the Business Insider report, Kate Taylor, who was also an EP on Quiet on Set, and added the fact she would pursue allegations regarding what may have happened between adults nearly 30 years ago, only a week after I filed a defamation suit accusing Quiet on Set of being intentionally false and misleading, seemed more than coincidental. Well, didn't she talk about this in the documentary, that you clearly are filing a suit again? But I was like, with all the stuff that was coming out, I was like, clearly he did not watch that damn thing. You did not watch all 4 parts, because they also said in the thing that they tried to reach out to him multiple times with no success. But then he went and spoke to one of the actors that was on Nickelodeon and did an interview, some weird little interview with him. Now, Denberg was canceled all that when she was 17 and told Business Insider that her relationship with Schneider turned sexual when she was around 19. This included Schneider allegedly discussing sexual topics with her over the phone and initiating phone sex with her in one instance. Denberg said she would sleep over at Schneider's house and they would give each other massages, and Schneider would sometimes play porn on his computer. She alleged that one night when they were watching Jeopardy together, they made a bet that whoever solved the answers correctly would get a massage. Denberg won, and Schneider allegedly fondled her breasts and put his mouth on them. Saying, I couldn't have been more green, Denberg said, adding that her relationship with Schneider was like a weird, abusive friendship. She added, I couldn't have been more vulnerable. Denberg also recalled a time when Schneider allegedly lashed out on her, saying they were at dinner and fellow writers and crew members when Schneider allegedly asked the group if they thought Denberg's breasts were different sizes. Well, you do know, like with testicles, one titty always gonna be bigger than the other. That's just how the body is shaped. Like if you stood up right now, one foot is longer than the other, one arm is longer than the other, one leg is longer than the other. We're not proportioned. Everybody's got one side longer than the other. I mean, unless you get implants, then they even that shit out. So they also said that Schneider allegedly, it said Denberg then said she threw a piece of bread at him and he reacted by screaming at her. It was one of those turns where that was really upsetting and scary. Everyone else seemed to completely blow it off because it's probably like, oh, that's just Dan. And that's the way they act in this industry. Oh, that's just them. Business as usual. Because they want to keep their jobs. Now, another alleged encounter occurred when Schneider asked Denberg to drive with him to his auto repairman. According to Denberg, the two got pulled over by a police officer, and Schneider revealed that he had a gun and made her hide it under her skirt so the officer wouldn't see. Glad it didn't go off. Denberg said that she decided to finally talk about her history with Schneider in order for others to feel safe to do so, as well, adding, there's a right and wrong and there's true and false. So if you definitely want to go read the rest of the article, you can head over to Business Insider's website. I have it linked on my chrisavalon.com page. I did I posted the whole thing with the link and everything. And I truly believe every word. See, this is why I said now, Dan, you was out here saying all this shit and filing lawsuits and this, that, and the third. And I said, you know what? You better watch it because somebody is going to dig into your stuff and you're not going to like what's going to come out. And here we are. But it's like a lot of y'all really don't think before y'all file lawsuits and get in the midst of things or whatever. So I'm not surprised by any of this stuff at all. I truly believe that he is a pervert, gross. Something is wrong with him. And this also makes me think, because if Lori Beth is coming out with stuff, this is making me not retract, because that means just take away something that you initially believed. So I'm not retracting anything. I'm staying 10 toes down on it. This makes me think, what happened between him and Amanda Bynes? I need Amanda Bynes to speak out. I don't want to force her to speak out because a lot of times people want to force people to speak out about things. But I truly believe in my heart of hearts that whatever her relationship with him may have played a huge role and may have been a catalyst in why her mental state is what it is. So I really believe that something went down with them too. Now, if Lori Beth is coming out saying that he found her boobs and was showing her porn and shit, you can't tell me he wasn't doing that with Miss Amanda Bynes. So, sleuths, court people, whoever, y'all better dig into it. Y'all better get to digging, because I need to find out if some shit went down with them. I mean, I don't think Amanda will talk because Amanda is I don't feel like she's gonna come forward with anything. But this has genuinely got me wondering, because them two had a real close relationship. And that's why he's coming out with the whole, oh, y'all was implying things in the docuseries. And I say a hit dog will holler. Because if nothing went down, then you wouldn't be out here trying to say that you were being defamed or whatever. So let me know what you guys think down in this story below. Do y'all believe Miss Lori Beth? Do you think Dan Schneider did some things? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, hold on. I take a swig of this Red Bull chill. Okay. Oh. Hold on. Oh, speaking of which, I'm glad Felix is in the room. Thank you for reminding me. And then we'll get to the comments. There's so many stories, docuseries and stuff that's coming out about a lot of people in Hollywood. And he just reminded me this week, because I didn't even know. I haven't been on HBO Max in a minute. But he told me that there's one on Kevin Spacey. Bitch, I'm going to have to go up on HBO Max and watch that, about Kevin Spacey and all the sexual things that he was doing to people and his background and how he grew up and all this other stuff. So I definitely am going to check that out. And I know, I think next week or the week after, there's one coming out about Nick Carter and the accusations against him. So my dance card is going to be full with all these exposés on these celebrities. You would be correct. I had to do that real quick. So the same thing happened to Estelle Getty on The Golden Girls. She was so good that they wrote out The Gay Cook and made some. Well, child, first of all, I love me some Estelle Getty. Can I just tell y'all how much I love The Golden Girls? Even though that was before my time. First of all, my grandmother used to watch that show. That's how I became familiar with The Golden Girls. And I guess because she was kind of like in that same boat as like those ladies or whatever. But here's the thing. What I never understood is, for some people for 4 women who lived in Miami, in, what was that, the 80s? Why was they all so buttoned up in them thick ass sweaters? It'd be hot in Florida. There's no way in hell you're gonna see me wearing all them clothes. But yeah, I love The Golden Girls. I remember I had a roommate when I lived in Brooklyn. I used to always hear him watching The Golden Girls as a marathon in his room, because I guess that was like his comfort. So that also got me into, oh, child, now he in there watching The Golden Girls. Let me get into that. I feel like my Golden Girls is Sex in the City and Queer as Folk and Ozark and all those shows. Those were my Sex in the Cities. So Avril addressed the Melissa body double rumors on the Call Me Daddy podcast. Let's just say she says it's true, body doubles exist in the industry, but that rumor is the most ridiculous thing ever. Who's Melissa? You said Melissa body double. A lot of celebrities use body doubles, especially during their sex scenes and stuff. Because I didn't realize that what a narcissist Dan Schneider was till I watched Quiet on Set and then saw his. I mean, then again, he's an actor. Look, he came from head of the class before he went and did the whole, becoming an exec thing. So if anybody knows about narcissism, it will be him. It said Dan was on Nickelodeon and Disney, according to Google, and a lot of them have their own controversies, so I wouldn't be surprised about him. Agreed. I do agree. I do wish Amanda Bynes would say something, but you know what? I feel like when we least expect it, she'll probably come out and say something. We got to let people come out, in a way when they're ready, because she really hasn't come out and said something. Oh yeah, yep. And it said there's one coming about Aaron and Nick Carter. It's funny how you said that, and I didn't even read the comment. But yeah, that's why I said I'm looking forward to that one. I don't know that one, but I'm sure it was quite. It said Cody from Step by Step. Same thing when he was fired. The ratings went, yeah, because Cody was someone. Shout out to Saucy Mitchell. I had such a crush on him when he was on that damn show. Him and Brandon Cole, I used to have huge crushes on when I used to watch Step by Step. But yeah, all the accusations that came out about him, and they said he was a wife beater and all this other stuff. Kind of found out that story wasn't true, and then instead of them doing an investigation, they fired him. And me, I was like, Step by Step was another show that had mediocre ratings. The jokes wasn't joking, and I think what happened was because, and here's what white people love doing. Whenever the black people start over with some shit, a lot of y'all will look to their shows, and a lot of y'all will try to copy and emulate. And at the time, because Family Matters was such a popular show, and I believe Family Matters was on the air before Step by Step was. So when shows ain't doing what they need to do, a lot of shows will be like, oh, so that's a hit show that works with them. We need to come up with our own version. We need to come up with our own thing. And I don't initially think they had a plan to bring Cody on. It just so happened that Step by Step was on. They were trying to do their thing or whatever. And then it's like, okay, let's create a character where they have the cousin on the wrong side of the tracks or whatever, come live with us, but he's an airhead. And the way Sasha Mitchell played that role, it was very much Urkel-esque, except he wasn't a nerd. He was just an airhead, like a Valley boy. Dude, and all that stuff. And he made the show funny. But then when they fired him, the show went downhill because it was like, yeah, people watched the show for Cody. People wasn't watching for, and as much as I love Suzanne Summers, people wasn't watching for Suzanne and Patrick Duffy and the rest of them, all them damn kids they had on the show. I don't care how cute a kid is. And they always try to do that too. They would try to play, especially because the Cosby Show was good at that. Oh, we have to have the cute kid that delivers the funny line, where they did with Rudy, and then Rudy aged out, so they had to add Olivia. Shout out to Raven Simone. And they had to keep doing that. They even tried to do that on Family Matters at one point when they brought Orlando Brown on. Speaking of people from Disney, and That's So Raven and stuff like Orlando Brown. He started out on Family Matters before he went and started doing other things. Now we see what happened to him. He another one that passed crazy. So, and I believe something happened to him too. Because I did watch one of those Kevin Spacey the other night, and yeah, that was saying you did a minute. You said Melissa was rumored to replace and become Avril when she died. Oh, I did not know that. It was saying that the Kevin Spacey died. Oh, it's into. I figured that they were excuse me, that it was going to be in two parts, because it seemed like a lot of these documentaries, docuseries type things, they don't only just end up as like a one-parter. It always has to be a multitude of episodes. Just like I think the Nick Carter one is similar in length to the Quiet on Set. I think it's 4 parts. Child, I don't know if I have the stomach to sit through 4 parts of hearing about all the abuse of Nick Carter, but I'm going to try. And the good thing about it is, at least it's on HBO Max and no commercials. So that's the thing that I love. But, because if it was Peacock, I'd be a little annoyed. Because I do have Peacock, and I do Peacock with that. I think Peacock is the only streaming service that I use with ads. But the ads are like 60 seconds. But I feel like the ads take me out of the moment. I feel like if I'm going to watch something heavy, I need to watch it all the way through. I don't want no commercials. I don't want no little breaks or whatever in it. Like, if I want to take a break, I could pause it and move on and just do something else. But yeah, so that's the only thing. So I guess that'll be a good thing that I could do. I did see you said they even talked to his brother. Both Family Matters and Step by Step was Warner Brothers. Same with Living Single and Friends. And look, child, people get mad at me because I always will big up Living Single and throw shade at Friends. I was like, first of all, Living Single was the better show. And it was more realistic in regards to like black people living in, I think they lived in Harlem. and showing all that. Whereas I do not feel like the living situations were realistic in Friends. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about Miss Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and this rumor that they are heading for divorce. And this is In Touch Weekly coming out with this tea. So don't hit me with your situations, Miss Jennifer. I don't make the news. I just report it. So Ben Affleck apparently has hit a breaking point with Jennifer Lopez and has moved out of the home they share. This is what a source exclusively tells In Touch. They said the writing is on the wall. It's over. They're headed for a divorce, and for once, Ben's not the... Wait, was Ben to blame the last time? Because I feel like Ben and her did not work out because of the fame and all that other stuff that was going on, and he didn't want to be a part of that. Like, he's someone who is... I love the creative aspect of Hollywood. And people always say, like, oh, well, if you don't like the business, then you need to leave. And it's like, no, not everybody. So, I'm sorry, but not, and we'll get to the article in a minute, but not everybody wants to be Kim Kardashian. Meaning they love, being a fame whore and all that stuff. Not everybody wants to be Kylie Jenner. Not everybody wants to be Jennifer Lopez, where it's like, you do the thing, Hollywood, movies, music, whatever the case is, but you also like the pomp and circumstance of the business, which is the paparazzi, taking pictures, tipping off TMZ to let everybody and people know where you at, so that way they can come in and ask you these pre-scripted questions or whatever the case is. And everybody likes that. Ben Affleck gives me, like, he's an actor, he's a director, he's an artist, he's someone who's from Boston, a blue-collar guy, whatever it was, the whole image of him. I don't necessarily know if he is a real blue-collar person, but the image of Ben Affleck gives me blue-collar tees. And to me, he just seems like someone who, I'll do what I need to do, like I'll work in the machine of Hollywood, which is when it's time to promote a movie, I'll go out and I'll do my interviews or whatever the case is. I'll pose on the red carpet if I'm promoting, whatever movie or whatever issue or whatever cause. But all the extra stuff with the paparazzi taking my pictures everywhere or following me wherever I go and putting my business all over in the tabloids, I don't like that. I like the artistic aspect of Hollywood. I like making my movies. I like writing scripts. I like directing. I like acting. That's what I do. Everything else, I don't like all that shit. But you should have known if you was going to get with this lady, that's what you're going to have to, you either shit or get off the pot or find a way to, like, remove yourself from that situation. But anyway, they said, fans have noticed that Ben and Jennifer have been spending increasingly amounts of time apart in recent weeks. The actor did not attend the Met Gala with his wife on May 6th, despite her important position as co-chair of the event. Ben's official excuse for missing the Met Gala was that he was busy filming The Accountant 2, but In Touch's source said he decided to call it quits on his marriage to the A-list singer, saying he's focusing on his work and kids now, the insider adds. Ben already moved out and they'll likely have to sell their dream house they spent 2 years searching for. They'll never stop loving each other, but she can't control him and he can't change her. There's no way it could have lasted. Probably because they both Leos. And no shade to the Leos. I told you, I know a lot of Leos in my family. Y'all are controlling. A lot of y'all like to have things done a specific way. And they said an ongoing problem in the pair's relationship was the different ways they handled the spotlight, with Jennifer embracing media attention and Ben shying away from it. In J-Lo's documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, the Air star admitting, getting back together, I said, listen, one of the things I don't want is a relationship on social media. Then I sort of realized it's not a fair thing to ask. It's sort of like you're going to marry a boat captain and you go, well, I don't want the water. We're trying to learn to compromise. So it says Jennifer added, I don't think Ben is very comfortable with me doing this, but he doesn't want to stop me. Ben would never try to stifle Jennifer's dreams or tell her she can't do something that advances her career, even though she could be quite controlling of him. Well, it just seems like, look, a lot of time when I be talking about them, the people be feeling like that she's got him whooped. And my thing is, look, as long as y'all mutually respect each other's situation, it's like, I don't like the fame and the pomp and circumstance, whatever, but if you want me to be there for you and support you in any way of what you're doing, then as a husband, I will support you in that way. But don't ask too much of me now. Like, don't ask me to like, oh, I got to start making out with you on camera because we need to show how much in love we are with each other. It's like, no, I'm not doing all that. Not for no cameras. But if you need me to hold a camera while you get this specific shot or whatever the case was, or if you need me to help you in writing, you know, like helping develop your script for The Greatest Love Story Never Told, whatever it was, that musical documentary shit that you was making, if you need me to help you in any way to develop the script in that part, which, child, that script was terrible. And I don't even think Ben Affleck could have saved the writing up in there. Even though he's an Oscar-winning screenwriter. You know, even Oscar-winning screenwriters have their bad days when it comes to the writing. It's like, I'll help you out in those other ways. But if you need me to do like extra stuff, like really giving my personality and putting my personal tea out there for these people just to show how much in love we are, I'm not doing that. That's why I loved. Is it safe to say like when Madonna and Guy, which they did, I'm gonna tell you a secret, and then we saw those moments of Guy and Madonna together. Them putting their personal life on the line may have contributed to their divorce eventually, because Madonna, I feel like, is in the same boat as Jennifer Lopez, where they love the spotlight, they love the attention, they're huge stars, but they got into relationships with people who kind of have like that whole blue collar mentality. And I feel like there were times where, even though I haven't seen Jennifer Lopez do it, I do feel like at times Madonna did try to find a way to be like this demure British home Susie Homemaker type, like just the aesthetic. But at the end of the day, Madonna was going to do what Madonna was going to do with her career. Like, you can't stop her. She's too big of a star where she was going to have to dim her light to make him feel better about who he was. And their relationship eventually, you know, ended up not working. But you saw parts of I just feel like when I look back on I'm going to tell you a secret, I was trying to remember how Lord said it in French. But then I feel like, yeah, that the way that whole situation would have worked, I don't feel like that marriage would have worked eventually. And I feel like Jennifer Lopez and Ben are in the same boat, where it's just like, you can't change somebody into what you want them to change them as. If you knew how they were going in, you cannot expect that eventually you're going to change their mind. And I really feel like in relationships, people need to stop doing that. People really need to stop trying to go in and mold their significant others into what they want them to be. Because it ain't going to work. Like me, I'm stubborn as hell. I'm going to constantly push back. So they said, unfortunately, compromising ended up being harder for the couple than the couple thought. They waited almost 2 decades to get back together, but in the end, they just couldn't make it work. They both said they'd matured and learned. I don't believe it. They both said they matured and learned from their mistakes, but some of the bigger issues that tore them apart the first time remained the same. Ben and Jen first dated in the early 2000s and were just days away from tying the knot, and they called their 2003 wedding. And then, you know, they stayed together until January 2004 before ending their relationship officially. And then in 2021, they reconciled, which led to them filing and, you know, the papers and getting married in July of 2022. And here we are in 2024, not even 2 years. It'll be July 2024 that they've been married 2 years. And now they're saying like they're heading for divorce. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily true, but let's entertain the idea that yes, if the whole divorce situation happens, do you think that Jennifer Lopez needs to stop getting married? I feel like in her mind, she still has this whole Disney-fied mentality of, I'm in love, I love love. No, girl, that whole I love love, that's a bunch of BS. You like being in relationships. You are someone who can't last 5 minutes without being in a relationship with a man. You can't be by yourself and it's giving insecurity. Like, she defines her relationships based off of who she's in them with. And I kind of felt like in the beginning, like, I don't want to shit on somebody's relationship, but I just feel like as an outsider looking at their situation, like, if you're not willing to change that part of yourself when you have to exercise your ego and not go in and want to continue to harbor the same things you did 20 years ago, it's like, well, yeah, if you know that Ben doesn't like the spotlight and all that stuff all that much, you need to find ways to remove yourself from that. Now, if you on your own, doing it, whatever, and then the paparazzi and someone to follow you, then that's fine. But as far as like the relationship and shit goes, you have to make a compromise in that way. And Ben seems like to be the type of person that doesn't like all that attention. So I'm not surprised that, you know, all this stuff is coming out. You know, they're going to deny it to the ends of the earth. They're going to say that they're not, splitting. But I don't know if I necessarily agree with them. They're like, well, he just is over the relationship. Maybe he is. Maybe she does get up under his skin and drives him nuts. Every time we see him, it looked like he'd rather have all his damn teeth pulled out without anesthesia than be seen around her, because he always looks miserable. He always looks like he's in need of a colonic. Like, he always looks annoyed and mad. And then Jennifer always seems like she's always trying to be hugged up on him to save face and make it look like nothing to see over here. We don't have no issues. So maybe what should have happened was y'all should have went and saw a therapist, a priest. You know how the Catholics do. They go to the priest. Or if you're black, you go to your pastor or whatever the case is. Or some people, if they have the coin, they go to a therapist. Y'all should have went and worked all of y'all stuff out. And not, this is me now, the documentary, whatever the fuck that was, where you sit on the couch and Fat Joe is trying to tell you about yourself. And you should have worked out whatever y'all stuff was. And then when you feel like, okay, we worked out our situation and we need to have a pact of being like, what we going to do, whatever in the situation, if that is broken, then we're going our separate ways. Y'all should have did that before you got married. But I feel like Jennifer Lopez is someone, them endorphins get to, sparking when it comes to the pomp and circumstance of a relationship. And then she's in the relationship, she gets bored. So I don't see her, I feel like I see her as someone who's going to be like Whoopi Goldberg, who's going to be like Madonna, who's going to be like so many of these other big name figures where it's just like, you're going to be single for the rest of your life. Like, or if you do get married, it's not going to last. Because you are that type. I don't even think Taylor Swift, I think Taylor Swift is going to be another one. Her and Travis is not going to last. Trust and believe. They're not. And she's going to write a whole album about him. So I just feel like there's people out here that's destined to be alone. And me, I don't find any problem with that. Like, what's wrong with being alone? Not everybody's equipped to be married. Not everybody is equipped to have their happily ever after. First of all, that happily ever after stuff is bullshit. Stop with the Disney-fied fairy tale stuff. And she needs to get out of that. That lady lives in La La Land. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, or should we call him Benifer, is Benifer about to part ways? Like, do you see like this whole relationship, they're going to last the test of time? Or do you think that this is a bunch of hokey pokey mess? Do you think that nobody's surprised about this at all? Like, you seem like, okay, it was only a matter of damn time, but I thought they would have lasted longer than almost 2 years as a couple. Let me know what you guys think down below. But child, Jennifer Lopez is going through it. It's like, damn, she didn't even get this tour started yet, and already her career is crumbling. We still don't even know what's going on with the tour. Okay, so let's go to the comments. Oh, you said you got Return of the Living Dead. I love that movie. Maybe I need to buy the Scream Factory version. I have Return of the Living Dead as a digital download, but I didn't have them. Well, I need to get back. I need to get back into buying DVDs and stuff. I really haven't been doing that. But once I stop moving around like a damn gypsy, there's talk I may be trying to. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to spill it yet. There's some moving talks that I'm going through right now, so I don't want to talk about it yet until it becomes official. So I'm gonna keep it to myself. So it's like, I'd be surprised if they make it through. Well, look, everybody was surprised they made it through the first year. But it's only a matter of time. So we're going to talk about how to actually work for our money. Cher has my money with her Pride reissues of her albums. Well, yeah, she found a way to capitalize on the whole thing about, for Pride or whatever. But look, I'd rather pay for Cher's gay albums, Closer to the Truth and Believe and all that other stuff, before I would a Carisha. Because we're gonna talk about her too, how she pandering to the gays for some coins. So don't forget to mention that we belong to that. Do we? You gonna wait? Why are we giving Kylie Minogue the side? Is it because she did the whole, Met Gala situation? You know what? I've been thinking a lot about the Met Gala situation and people block, Operation Block Party, whatever the fuck y'all calling it. I'm gonna get my thoughts on that when we get to the whole GLAAD stuff, because I've been really thinking about it. And this whole block situation, I think is stupid. And I'm gonna tell you why, but we'll save that for later. And so how can Ben Affleck expect such privacy after marrying somebody like J-Lo? Matt Damon said he married a civilian. Yeah, nobody's following him around. The only time sometimes I'd be forgetting about Matt Damon and the fact that he's married. And that's another thing too. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I believe I said this before when we were talking on the last show. That's the same thing as Timothy Chalamet dating Kylie Jenner. Like, if you want to be with somebody, I don't care how good the pussy is, but, and that's with anybody. If I value my privacy, I'm not getting with someone who is a fame whore. I'm not getting a relationship. I'm not marrying. I'm not doing any of that, because what you're asking them to do is to forego the very thing that they love about Hollywood. J-Lo loves the glitz and glamour. She loves the spotlight. She likes all the attention. She likes people, all eyes on her when she wants you to. But you can't look at her when you a commoner and she want to order some food, or she's somewhere else. You civilians, you can't look at her because then you might turn to stone. But she only want eyes on you when she want eyes on her. And that would be when she's on the red carpets and she's doing all this stuff, when she's working. But child, people gonna look at you. So I don't know why you mad. Sidebar. Billie Eilish was at my job yesterday. She looked good. There was a lot of celebrities at my job yesterday. But yeah, Billie Eilish was at my job yesterday, and I was like, when they played Bad Guy, I was like, wait a minute, I know Billie Eilish is not in the building, and then they showed her. I was like, yes, she is. But anyway, they said guys skipping shows. Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. Now, if I'm in a relationship with one of the biggest pop stars in the world, well, who's a gay performer? Okay, that I would actually want to sleep with. Okay, so let's use Ricky Martin as an example. If I was married to Ricky Martin and he was on tour, I want to see your show every day. I already seen what it looked like. That's like what I told y'all. When I worked the Olivia Rodrigo concert and I seen the show 3 out of the 4 shows, I worked the 3 out of the 4 shows she did. After the third show, I'm like, okay, I've seen the show already. I'm tired. Like, I want to see the show again. It drove me crazy when I was working in the circus. Like, I having to be there for multiple shows, knowing exactly what's going to happen. I mean, things did change up because depending on when people rented out the space, like we had the Hasidic Jews came and rented out, like bought out a whole thing for them to come and watch the show, and they had to change up the costumes, whatever, based off their religious beliefs or whatever. That made the show interesting because they changed it up. Also, when Brandon Voss and we did a special Halloween, what is it? A Halloween edition of the Big Apple Circus. And he came in and we had Violet Chachki came in, performed. Cameron Michaels came in, performed. Bianca Del Rio hosted and roasted and to the point where we got complaints because she was cussing so damn much. But she was like, she kept cussing and I was hollering. She would have all the straight people in there damn near pissing themselves with them jokes. But when we did all of that, that made it exciting because you was changing up the show depending on the situation. But when you have to watch the same show all the time, that would drop me nuts. Even I've had people say to me, it was like, they thought, have you ever worked like Broadway shows or whatever? And I was like, no. I mean, yeah, I haven't. And then they were like, oh, I said, well, have you? They were like, no, because I wouldn't be able to sit there and watch the same show every day. And it's like, yeah, that would drive me nuts. If you already seen the show backwards, so you might as well maybe get up there on the stage and be somebody understudy, because I can't sit and watch the same damn show every day. But me, it's like, yeah, if I was Guy, I wouldn't be there watching the Madonna's concert all the time. It's like, okay, I've seen it like 5 times already. Like, I love you, dear, but no, I got things to do. I got a movie to direct. Let me do my jujitsu. Let me do all my other stuff. Hang out with my boys at the pub. That sort of thing. I got to do guy shit. It should have stayed. First of all, I even had people in my comments on YouTube when I cut up the episode. It was like, one girl said she was mad because she used her welfare money or something or another, or shelter money. She said something. I'm like, girl, how do you put that in the comments? But to each his own. And she was just like, she spent her money on This Is Me then. It was so this. I said, because Miss Mama thought she was Mariah Carey. She thought she was going to get up in there and blow. And people wanted to hear her try to channel her in a Mary J. Blige or Ashanti, as some of y'all like to say. She her voice double. And then, or she was trying to do the R&B pop stuff. It's like, no, sis, like, stick to the rivers and the lakes you used to. Nobody's here to try to hear you sing. We know you can't do a little yang yang. People want to see you get up here and dance and shake your booty and all other stuff. So you should have focused on the strong suit, which is, you know what, y'all hide her voice under all the tricks and the auto-tune and all other stuff and the voice correction, do all the tricks and things that you do. And you get up there and you lip sync for your life to them songs like you a drag queen, and you give us full on choreography and hair blowing with the diva fans and the fashion flashy costumes and hot backup dancers. Like, that's what we want to see. We want to see Jennifer Lopez sit up there thinking she Adele. It's like, no. That's why we love Sierra. We don't like Sierra for her vocals. We like Sierra because Sierra be up in there doing the Matrix moves and dancing and stuff. I didn't think about this before, but I also think what Jennifer Lopez needs to do at this point, girl, I'm sorry, but you need to have an opening act. Like, I don't even think she's big enough to do something about it. That's why she was mad at Shakira. And you want to know something? Maybe the Super Bowl was right, that Jennifer Lopez is not interested enough to be able to conduct a Super Bowl halftime by herself. She needed a co-person because maybe they saw something we wasn't really looking at, which was she's not capable of opening up something by herself because she really hasn't put in the work and an investment into her career. So, you know what? Maybe the Super Bowl people was on to something that we didn't realize it until now. So that's what I'm thinking. They said, I have a feeling Ben effed it up. He had it with Jennifer Garner, but his alcoholism pushed her away. J-Lo is addicted to the idea of being in love. Alanis Morissette revealed how she fixed it was to stay single and live alone and get used to the idea of being alone and learn how to love herself. And that's what really it is, because Jennifer Lopez tried to imply all of that in the thing, but I feel like she never truly sat down and really took time to love herself. I think she put all that in the movie that she did for Amazon Prime, but I don't really feel like she walked the walk with that. And that's why I think people just didn't buy it, because they felt like she was being inauthentic. So I don't truly feel like she's taken time to really be by herself. So I think we realized that our parents had probably forced, or they had it since were probably forced. Because I know for me, it's the folks hate me that, and there's usual arguments because I'm not what parents expect me to be. Especially, you get asked to Walmart. That's like, what you doing? She did. Kylie ate with Padam Padam. Well, you said Kylie Jenner. I'm side eyeing because since that bitch had to add Minogue. Well, I do agree with this. It's like Kylie did eat with Padam Padam. I do love that song. I'm ready for some new music, though. I know it's too soon, but look, they said she's working on new music, and you might as well, do that because you need to capitalize on this moment. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Miss Lizzo, who shared that anti-genocide activists have helped pull her out of a 9-month depression in a new social media post. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Lizzo said Monday that she wished and extend a personal thank you to activists working against genocides in Palestine, Sudan, and the Congo, also saying student protests in the United States are deeply important. Well, Lizzo, can you send that to that old big-headed bitch Hillary Clinton, because she want to sit out here and go on Jimmy Fallon and CNN and pretty much thumb her nose up at the younger generation and say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, because I've been over to Israel and I've been over there. Yes, sis, we know you've been over there and you've probably been bought and paid for it. So we're not going to sit and listen to your dumb ass when it comes to talking about things when the people on the outside looking in are way more smarter than you realize. And one of the things I want to say, and I don't think I've done this enough, but I want to sincerely give a shout out to Gen Z, because I feel like Gen Z and even Gen Alpha, who are jumping into the whole thing, have really been coming out here and really teaching and reminding a lot of those people that were older about, when you see some shit, if you see something, say something. And if you see something that's not right and you're tired of our tax-paying dollars being used to fund a genocide, when that's something we don't want, and Joe Biden thinks that he could just, ignore it and it'll go away. And it's like, no, I don't care how many people y'all kick out of, rooms or whatever, Hakeem Jeffries and a whole lot of y'all Democrats and Republicans. I don't care how many people you kick out of a room. You cannot ignore the big elephant in the room. It is still, the stench is still there. We still smell the elephant shit. You can't get rid of the smell. So y'all need to acknowledge it, and we need to come to some sort of conclusion. Otherwise, you're going to lose this damn campaign. People don't want to vote for Trump. People don't want to vote for Biden. People want a third party candidate, or they're just going to not use their vote. And this whole fear mongering that I've noticed a lot of Democrats doing, like get over it or whatever, which is basically the attitude that Hillary had. Stop being dismissive of a lot of these younger people, because didn't Whitney say the children are our future? And it seems like a lot of these kids who everybody likes to thumb, they know. I feel like every generation does this, because they did it to my generation. So, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all young, y'all stupid, whatever. It's like, no, we pay attention. A lot of kids are, their minds are sponges and they're developing and they're learning things. And for you to just dismiss them because you feel like they don't know what they're talking about, social media is allowing people to just go and find out things way faster than getting the BS from teachers or whatever the case was. Because I used to debate my teachers in school, but I had one teacher sit up here and talk about Columbus discovered America. I said, no, the fuck you didn't. Because as someone whose family is Native American, part Native American, and living on reservations, you're not going to sit up here and discount the genocide of my people at the hands of, in historical figures like Christopher Columbus and stuff, and how the genocide, like this country was stolen from Native Americans. So we're going to talk about colonization. We're going to talk about it. So we're not going to do that. So I do applaud Lizzo for coming out and saying something. And that's why I said, I don't think I do it enough, but I actually want to sit and thank Gen Z for being the catalyst to come out and speak about this, because it's like, but wait a minute, y'all the same people that was, not, people of my parents' generation, y'all were protesting the Vietnam War, y'all were protesting women's, for the women's liberation, the sexual revolution, then we had the gays with, Stonewall riots and that sort of thing. So we've been here many a times, but why is it when it comes to, and in Black Lives Matter, that's my generation, and then we've had all these things, but why is it like all of a sudden now, when it comes to this whole Israel-Palestine situation, the kids are stupid. They don't know what they told me. And these are the same fucking people that was out here marching for that stuff that I just mentioned. But these kids don't know what they're talking about? So can they say the same thing about y'all? But anyway, let's get back to Lizzo. So she did post a picture. Oh, yeah, and another thing I noticed also, I'm glad that they brought up Sudan and the Congo, because there's genocides and stuff going on there too. I know we're so bombarded with, with the whole Palestine situation, but I'm glad that they brought up Sudan and the Congo. But hold on, because I'm trying to find this clip with Lizzo, and then we'll get right back to. Okay, so it said in a video posted on IG, which the singer noted was long overdue, Lizzo said that she wanted to give a thank you to all the activists and all that good stuff. So we're gonna play that clip now, so y'all can hear what she had to say, and I'm gonna give my thoughts.
This video is long overdue, but I just want to take a second and give a personal thank you to all of the activists who have been working tirelessly to help the liberation and the freedom of the people who have been genocided all over the world, specifically Palestine, Sudan, and the Congo. As someone who has worked closely with activists, I know the toll it can take on your mental and your physical, and it can feel thankless. So if you have not heard it today, thank you. Your work is not in vain. You have helped so many people. You have saved literal lives. And on a personal note, you have activated me. I was in a deep, dark depression. I had some mental health crises and episodes over the last 9 months, and I was not present. Between the loss I experienced in my personal life and the state of the world, I had been rendered into an emotional state where I could not process or handle anything. It was very dark. And I'm not saying this to make excuses, nor do I want sympathy. I just haven't been able to be transparent with y'all in a long time. And this has been weighing on my heart to share with y'all. The people in my life who love and care about me, they helped me get out of this dark space. And I appreciate them. Kind words from people on the internet, they really motivated me. But also the activism that I've been seeing has been extremely motivating. Y'all have really motivated me to get my ass up and get back to who I am. I also want to take this moment and thank all of the anti-genocide, anti-war protests that have been happening at college campuses all across this country. What these students have done and are doing is so deeply important. I can't even express it in one video. I am also extremely indebted to Operation Olive Branch and all the people running that organization. Thank you.
Okay, so we can pause it there. And you know what? Shout out to Lizzo for saying that. Now, I do know, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw her documentary, but it was a while ago, on HBO Max. And she was talking about how I believe her father was an activist and was very much into activism and stuff back in the day and civil rights and that sort of thing, which has which also played a huge part in, you know, her music and how she, you know, creates all the things that she did in her music and stuff, and kind of taking that more positive, you know, situation when it comes to music and uplifting and all that, and, you know, and all that stuff. Now, I am glad also that she has decided to speak out about all this other stuff, but I know some people, let's get to the cynic side, you know, some people feel like that she's coming out and saying all this because her public image has kind of been in the toilet. You know, where she was, you know, back in, what was it, last year in August and September, they said that, you know, the accusation with the former dancers, where they accused her of harassment and other workplace grievances in a series of complaints that were reportedly now on hold while she appeals a ruling that allowed the case to move forward. And she said that she didn't do anything, whatever the case was. And then she was talking about she was quitting the industry. But then she said that she came back and said, I quit giving any negative energy attention. And then she was dealing, you know, she was dealing with a lot of stuff and going on with them. Then they also feel like maybe she's coming out and saying stuff because, you know, she was at the Met Gala. And there's this whole thing going on about, let's cancel all these celebrities that showed up at the Met Gala. And there was something that I saw earlier. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Ortega Rojas, who I like to follow on Instagram. And he said something that was really prominent. I know he was on the red carpet interviewing, you know, people and stuff about it, but he also is someone who speaks out about a lot of injustices. You know, he was on the red carpet interviewing the girls for GLAAD, I should say. And he also has, you know, posts a lot of political motivated stuff on his IG. And he was saying something like, okay, now what we should not be treating this whole activism thing that was going on in regards to, oh yeah, let's cancel every celebrity that doesn't speak out about Palestine or doesn't speak out about this or doesn't speak out about that. Like, I've had friends that was somehow, yeah, load up, go on people's merch pages, load up the stuff, like leave it all in the cart and then don't check out nothing. Just leave it up in there because it makes it harder for people to buy or purchase anything because it's all up in the cart, but it hasn't been purchased. And I'm saying, like, I'm not doing all of that, first of all, to fuck up somebody's situation. I don't care enough. I just don't give them my money. Like, I thought that would just be that simple. Like, if you don't support an artist, don't buy their merch. Or if you want to buy their merch, go on Amazon because then they won't get the money. Just don't go on their website and buy the merch. Just the same thing like with blocking them. I'm like, okay, so you blocking them on Instagram, like, how does that affect them in any way? Like, to me, it's like, I don't like this whole idea of like, let's play who's the bigger political activist than the other. I'm not sitting here doing no dick measuring situation with people to show you how much I'm in solidarity with the people of Palestine. Y'all already know how I feel about this situation. I've spoken out about it. I'm sharing enough information. If you go on my IG stories, I share enough stuff because I'm taking off the thing where it's like, you know, on Instagram, they block, where it's like, you can either get a lot of political stuff into your feed or not. You have the choice. So I took it off so that way I get all the political information. Because, you know, once TikTok allegedly disappears, then where am I going to get all my information on what's going on in the world? So I like all that stuff in my feed because I like to be informed. So you have a choice of wanting to do that. And for me to like try to force celebrity hands because you're mad that they showed up somewhere or they didn't do this or they didn't speak out. It's like, we should not be forcing people to have to speak out on political things if they don't want to, just like we don't force human beings. And I've had conversations with friends of mine that are like, you know what, I don't say anything because I'm not 110% sure of what's going on. Like, I'm learning things and I'm hearing things and I'm educating myself, but I don't want to say the wrong thing because these days, the way, you know, people come out and they say something, y'all ready to cancel. Y'all ready to just destroy it. Like, nobody can make a mistake. Nobody can say the wrong thing. It's a problem if they make, if somebody says just one thing that ticks you off because y'all just be ready to pounce. I was like, whatever happened to the days where we could actually sit and have a genuine conversation about stuff and it not be an issue of, oh, well, I'm going to be canceled if I say the wrong thing, which makes people afraid to have a debate. Me, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sit and debate. I'm going to say whatever because I come from that. When I was growing up, I debated and stuff. So that don't scare me none. But there's other people who get afraid to come out and say certain things because it's a fear of being canceled, whatever the case was. So I'm sure Lizzo will work out what she's gonna work out. I'm glad she spoke out. I hope it is not that, you know, she's not speaking out because she's worried about her livelihood being affected or whatever the case is. But if people, and there was another thing too, where somebody asked, I think it was on my friend Lady Bunny's page. Somebody, she posted something where it was just like, how do you feel about people who are just now coming on the situation? I guess bandwagoning, where it's like, oh, they just now jumping on the bandwagon or whatever. I hate using that word because it makes it feel like you just jumping on it for clout and stuff. And I do feel like there are people out there that are jumping on situations and trying to say, oh yeah, I'm on Palestine because it's going to get me views on Instagram. It's going to get my TikTok to go up, whatever the case is. And if that's what you're doing, people will see through the bullshit eventually. That's like somebody throwing up a Black Lives Matter thing, but you were low-key racist. But you've seen some people do some problematic shit like that. Oh yeah, I show solidarity. I'm all for the blacks and Black Lives Matter. Mind you, you out here sending N-word posts and all this other stuff and step and fetch type sexual shit and or you having yourself a moment like Jared Carmichael, where you up in here, you know that situation with him and that little white boyfriend he got. And the little joke he made and everybody dragged him over it. So I don't mind if people are late to the party. Not everybody is going to be unplugged for the Matrix when you decide to unplug. It's the same thing when I'm going to bring up the Beyonce Tina Knowles situation where she was talking about like educating people through her art. And her mother was like, Beyonce said it may not be, some people will get it today and some people will get it tomorrow. And I truly believe that. I feel like not everybody is going to get what you're trying to say or what's going on in the world out the gate. Sometimes you got to give people the time and the grace to figure it out before they're like, you know what, I've gotten enough information. Now I can open up and now I can show my solidarity and educate myself more, because there's even been Jewish people that's come out and said, you know what, I've been taught to believe this about my people for years, not even years, decades, I should say. And then when I found out the true tea, now I understand. So sometimes you got to give people the grace and the time to unwind and have the strings and, the thread to come out and for them to like unlearn what they have been taught growing up. And I feel like a lot of us go through that, be it Jewish people or Black people or gay people or women or men. There's certain things that you learn that you've been conditioned to learn growing up as a child. And when you get older, you start to deprogram yourself from those things or unlearn the things that you learn that turns out to be traumatic or childhood traumas and things of that nature. So I don't mind that Lizzo spoke out. I'm glad she spoke out, but girl, make sure you get your situation in order with all the drama that's going on with you and that sort of thing with the lawsuit. But let me know what you guys think down below, because I always say, like, you know what, I don't mind if people just come on the bandwagon at the last minute if they're genuinely willing to open up and learn about what's going on in the world. And so I don't mind that Lizzo has come out and said something, and we shouldn't have to put a gun to people's head and be like, well, Lizzo came out and said something, now y'all all did. Like, no, don't do that. We're not going to force people to have to come out and be political. Just like, it's the same thing I look at as like, if somebody is gay and in the closet and they're not ready to come out, we're not going to force them to. It needs to be on their own time when they are ready. Then they can come out. Or if they do come out and say some stuff, what are your intentions? So let me know what you guys, or what are your true intentions? So let me know what you guys think down in the comments on the story below. Okay, so we have comments. Speaking of which, I think it's because it's not in America. That's my opinion. But Gen Z is always saying it's not just America that's being ignorant, as apt to say only our country matters, which is the mindset. Well, America was always taught that we are the superior country and, all that stuff. And then a lot of people come here and they realize, child, that ain't true. Because I'm a 19-year-old and I really appreciate you and Lizzo shouting us out. Shout out to Gen Z. Look at them. I got a Gen Z fan base. Was that, or you Generation Alpha? Look, sometimes I be trying to keep up and I can't remember who, I'm like a Zennial. So I'm like half Gen Z, half millennial. So it's I've merged. So it's like, yeah, I definitely think like we need to stop shitting on Gen Z. Now, there's some things that do irritate me about y'all, like the whole sexual thing and all the other stuff that comes out. So sometimes I do speak on that, but when props are needed to be given, we got to give props where they need to be, good, bad, and indifferent. So yeah, we shouldn't just like throw our nose up at Gen Z and all that other stuff, or Gen Alpha or the next generation that's coming up, because they doing something that we don't agree. Because once upon a time, we was y'all age. And I think a lot of times people forget that. And so instead of every generation, pre-Gen Z, even millennials, because we grew up in the last era of legacy media, Are you saying has Lizzo lost weight? She might have. Maybe she's on that same stuff as Kelly Clarkson. But yeah, we are the last generation of legacy media, meaning that's pre-internet. That means we grew up at a time where, you know, computers were still in development, where the screen was green, and then you had a little dot going across the screen, and then you had to have Pac-Man go eat the dots, or you know, the old school shit, like when video games wasn't really video gaming how they video gaming now, where everything looks realistic. So we are of a time where it's like we got to see the world before the internet is what it is now. So I'm glad I didn't grow up in the time of computers, but I don't envy the kids that grew up in the time of computers because y'all way better at figuring that stuff out than me. I still be trying to figure out some stuff. Although my father is like going to be 70 this year, and he's way more tech savvy than anything. But that's because he's a gadget guy. He's more into that stuff. So I don't think it even thinking about it, it's even about age. It's just interest. I said, call me cynical. Oh, not the but with the two T's. So call me cynical, but I see this is nothing more than a PR move to distance us. See, look, didn't I say that? I said, look, I don't want to be cynical, and here Roro going being cynical. Well, be cynical for me. Oh, hold on, I need some water. Because after drinking that Red Bull, sometimes you need a little water thrown up in your system. But see, I don't want to be that way. Like sometimes I just be wanting to give people the benefit of the doubt. Look, I'm trying to grow as a person. Like I don't always want to be cynical all the time, but that's why I love that y'all come up here. Can y'all just be cynical for me, and I'll just live vicariously through y'all. But yeah, I do feel like on one hand it's like, yeah, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but the other side of me is wondering the same thing, that because of the stuff you was going through in your the toxic work environment, all that stuff. And this is why I said, like, if y'all want to do the sex party stuff, if you want to have people going into a club where people sticking bananas in your vagina and all the other mess, which was the accusations, then I feel like that what needs to happen is take people with you that's down with stuff like that. Like I'm gonna take if I got some freaky friends, those are the ones that I'm going to take to the party with me. Is Sailor Mermaid in the building? Look at me spilling his tea. But that was always like, yeah, if I'm gonna be doing stuff like that, that's what I'm gonna get into, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take those people. I'm not taking my backup dancers, I'm not taking my manager, I'm not taking anybody that is in my employment to these places, because what you're not gonna do is all of a sudden you was with it in the beginning, and then all of a sudden now, because you ain't had a job in 6 years, then all of a sudden, oh, Chris did this, and this. Ooh. Not this. I'm gonna get to the next one. I'm sure y'all probably see it. Is I had a girl try to out me in the 10th grade, but I started to come out to my friend. I hate it when people did that, because that happened to me when I was a kid too. Like people would go whisper to my mother, "You know your son is gay, right?" It's like, bitch, you know you're fat, right? Mind your business. You know your man don't love you, right? You know your man is cheating on you, right? You know I always had a clap back. And it's like, oh, well, I hope Sailor Mermaid didn't hear what I said earlier. But anyway, let's talk about these hoes over at GLAAD. So the 35th annual GLAAD Media Awards took place in New York City, and this was on Saturday. So singer and talk show host Screamer for Hudson and country singer Orville Peck were honored. And shout out to my friend, oh my God. How did I fucking forget? Mila Jam. I'm like, what is going on in my brain today? Shout out to my friend Mila Jan, because I know she was there. Kevin Aviance was there. I saw she took a picture with Orville. Orville is fine, though. I've seen this man, though, and we just don't keep it moving. I'm not going to make no comments on other people's men. So it said the East Coast portion of the 2024 GLAAD Media Awards was marked by two raucous moments at Saturday night's Manhattan Gala, one with Jennifer Lawrence as she added some cutting deadpan humor as she presented an achievement award, and another when a drag artist and trans activist interrupted the gala's proceedings to draw attention to the organization ties to Israel and its deadly military campaign in Gaza. Now, on Saturday at the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, Lawrence took the stage to present the Vito Russo Award to gay country singer Orville Peck. Before speaking to her of her friendship with Peck, the Oscar winner took a shot at former Vice President, and I think closet case, Mike Pence, who has been accused of at one point supporting gay conversion therapy, saying, "I love the." Well, I can't show her clip because I don't know if we'll get flagged for it. So I would just read what she said. Jesus Christ, my nose. Okay, it said, "I love the gay community. In fact, I was in love with a homosexual," she revealed. "It was my first love. I tried to convert him for years, but now I know conversion therapy doesn't work." Did you hear me, Mike Pence? I said, shouting conversion therapy. She said, shouting. Conversion therapy isn't real, even though I know you think it worked on you. Child, I'm glad somebody said what we've been thinking, because you can't tell me Mike Pence don't give me full-on sissy and punk tease. You know how them white queens are? Calling, first of all, anybody call they significant other mommy, I'm side-eyeing. Yes, I'm talking about you, Monique, because you be calling your man daddy. And then she said she was bisectional too. So they said, he's in New York tonight. I know. He's receiving a Kids' Choice Award for weird dick. She said, guffaring as the crowd roared, then adding, "I didn't write that one." Well, child, look. And so the Vita Russo Award, named after a founding member of GLAAD, is given to an artist who had made a significant difference in accelerated LGBTQ acceptance. Now, on Saturday, another artist was in attendance and trying to make a difference right there among some of the media industry's top LGBTQ plus players by noting GLAAD's ties to the Anti-Defamation League and apparent silence about Israel's military campaign in Gaza, which many are calling a genocide of the Palestinian people. Now, as the night's award presentations began with Miss Thing comic Ross Matthews opening the monologue. I actually met Ross Matthews at Starbucks during the DragCon, the last one that they did in New York before they just kept it in LA. I actually met him. We had a little brief conversation. But now I'm side-eyeing you after I heard what had happened at this whole glass situation. But anyway, so they say at the night award presentation began with comic Ross Matthews' opening monologue. Trans drag artist Chiquitita, who has been part of the group of around 150 demonstrators outside of the event and made her way inside with fellow New York drag queen Didi Opulence, who managed to get into the ceremony when grassroots activist group ACT UP, which organized the outdoor demonstration, secured 2 wristbands. As the night's event got underway, Chiquitita stood up and began repeating, "GLAAD is complicit to genocide," as, of course, per usual, the perplexed-looking crowd looked on from their, expensive-ass tables. Now, we do have the clip, and we did play it the other day, but, in case y'all need y'all memories refreshed, let's play the clip again. Chris, roll the clip.
Great. Let me see you. Yeah, you look good. You look good. GLAAD is complicit in genocide. 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 So great. Let me
They all look lost and confused up in there. Like everybody's like, "What's happening? Oh my God, what's happening?" But and then look, it says, speaking with a Hollywood Reporter, Chiquitita said she knew the right moment had come just before RuPaul's Drag Race judge Ross Matthews took the stage, saying this was just after a video had played throughout the banquet hall in which a person was speaking about how drag queens have been at the forefront of protests for rights for decades, saying it was something like drag queens throughout history fighting for equal rights and shit, she said by phone. And then it was as soon as I heard what the video was, I was like, oh, this is meant to be like this. I have to do this. I cannot not do this right now. Once they said Ross Matthews, I had no idea what was about to come up on that stage. I was like, this could not be more. This is this. Oh, I think they said this could not be more perfect. So Chiquitita told THR that her act of protest was met by dead silence. But was she surprised? From the room full of LGBTQ supporters on Saturday. From the stage, Matthews then reminded the crowd that this is America and we have free speech here, she recalled. And so basically, we have to listen to everyone's opinion, no matter whether we agree with them or not. Chiquitita said she found this to be condescending, yet still tried to acknowledge that this is an important point, but was soon peacefully removed from the event by security. DD Opulence had already been removed. Now, on the way out, she says GLAAD event organizer yelled at her that the organization is not complicit in genocide. Chiquitita, who recently appeared on the Netflix series Glamorous, I love that show, and I was so mad that they canceled it. Hold on, because I lost my spot. Okay, so there's a Chiquitita who recently appeared on the Netflix series Glamorous, was also the MC at the protest outside GLAAD's big night in New York, which included speeches from queer Palestinian activists and artists, healthcare workers, and organizers working to aid Gaza refugees in Egypt. At the same time, a 40-foot long banner read "New York loves Gaza" was unfurled from the 42nd floor of the New York Hilton Midtown, where Saturday night's events was held. This was a direct response to an email campaign that we launched at GLAAD over a month before to please break their silence and to take a firm stance with the Palestinian people. Ariel Freelander, an ACT UP member since 2018, told The Hollywood Reporter by phone. She added that it was Vito Russo, whose namesake award Lawrence presented that night, who directly inspired the activist group to organize a pro-Palestinian demonstration. Russo told about how living with AIDS is like living through war that nobody sees and nobody knows is happening. This is what Freelander said, referring to a speech the ACT UP founder made at a 1988 demonstration. Even more than 60,000 people had died of AIDS, leading some to compare the epidemic to a genocide, which it kind of was. Well, I've heard people who I know from that generation referred to AIDS as they were called the AIDS Holocaust. And I know some people get mad over it. I'm like, Holocaust is just basically, something that is that around that basically takes out a whole bunch of people, like a genocide. So there's no specific ownership of the word, I feel, but Jews, they love to occupy some stuff. So it is what it is, but whatever. So it kind of is like that. So one of the things I don't like, that particularly I feel like when it comes to GLAAD, is like GLAAD and all these other organizations, these mainstream queer organizations, I feel like a lot of times they have forgotten over the years who they are. I feel like y'all don't necessarily, you haven't really truly lived through the moments, or it's like, okay, so it started out as one thing, but then you get so caught up in the sponsorships and all this money and the donations, and then you become a slave to those very donations and organizations that are giving you the money. So now it becomes like this whole political thing where it's like, when you endorse a certain politician, now it's like you own that politician. The politician has to do what your money is funding them to do. And I feel like that's kind of what GLAAD has become, which is why I haven't really been giving them my coins for the longest. Like, even at one point when I saw that my friend Lady Bunny had posted this article the first time, I had written, and it's gotten over almost 100 likes on her page. I said, no, not she, me. I said, GLAAD has been a hollow shell of itself for a long time, selling their souls for mainstream cis-het acceptance. I stopped giving them my coins eons ago. So that's how I basically have felt about GLAAD. Like, I've never felt like, I felt like after a while, I was like, yeah, I love the fact that, that gay people are in this world of acceptance and that sort of thing. And I do feel like a lot of people have forgotten, especially because of Drag Race. A lot of y'all have forgotten that drag, even Pride started out as a protest, and now I'm hearing stories that, we got to be on alert because they're talking about there's a possible terror attack that may happen during Pride Month. We have a bunch of parades that that happened in the month of June in New York, but the big main one in Manhattan, they're talking about there might be a possible terror. I said, child, first of all, after 9/11, the way y'all put all this money into these counterterrorism units and police and having these armed guards and stuff on the streets with their semi-automatic weapons, I said, so y'all not gonna put them out there for this Pride parade? Like any other time, y'all got them out in the street to make sure the tourists won't get, unalived or whatever the case was. So now you want to put all this out here and try to freak people out. But I do have a friend that believes that this is all a bunch of propaganda because, with all the stuff that's happening with the Israel-Gaza situation. So these are things that a lot of people are freaking out about. And, I love the fact that we have people out here who, like chiquititas or tetas, who's out here speaking out in support of what's going on in the world and using their art and their drag as a form of protest. And that's what I think a lot of people forget about. I think so many people get wrapped up or raised on RuPaul's Drag Race that they forget, and they do kind of mention it in a glossed over type of way. But drag queens have always been at the forefront of political activism. I have a lot of drag queen friends who are political activists. Or I know a lot of people who are political activists. Like Lady Bunny is someone who is a icon or a legend in the drag world and has always used her platform to speak out, even though a lot of people get pissed off at what she says. But I love the fact that she's standing 10 toes down on her beliefs, whereas RuPaul is the opposite. But RuPaul has a lot to lose in what the foundation she's built, especially with Drag Race being worth all them damn millions and all the other stuff. And then we have Marty Gould Cummings, who is another drag queen from New York who is a political activist. There's so many queens out here in New York who have taken that stance. So I love the fact that, we have people out here who are not afraid to say what they need to say and to speak out when they need to speak out, and will do what they do and not let the people break them down. Stand 10 toes down on what you believe. As long as you stand on the right side of history, you can't be steered in the wrong direction. I truly feel that people who stand on the right side of history are always the ones that get ostracized or dogged down. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, so many other political figures were kind of looked down, or civil rights leaders were always kind of like looked down and treated like shit, and people didn't accept them or respect or value what they were doing until they were no longer on the earth. So you know what they say, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So that's what I truly believe. But let me know what you guys think about this story down below, because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the whole thing of the GLAAD Media Awards and a lot of these organizations. It's like, yeah, if you're going to walk the walk and talk about drag as the foundation and drag started as a political thing, if you're going to sit up here and praise Vito Russo, but you're not going to literally, just because you think it's all pomp and circumstance, but you're not really going to walk the walk of what Vito Russo stood for, what the Stonewall Riot stood for. Y'all just want to be up in here glad at y'all $1,000 dinners and hobnobbing with celebrities, but it's all a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Okay, so he said I did. Is that Maryland? I saw, child, first of all, I just saw earlier. It's funny how you bringing up stuff that I saw earlier, but I didn't really talk about. There was a YouTube clip that's floating around about Marilyn Manson, and he's got like this beat thing stitched all over his body. I didn't understand what was going on or what was happening, but they mentioned something or another, like he was on tour, and there's like some little visual situation that's going on with Marilyn Manson on social media, but they turn off the comments, so you can't even comment on in the comments, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not surprised that Marilyn Manson's gonna be sitting out here doing stuff like at one point in life, Marilyn Manson was that dude when it came to the music. I remember as a kid, I got in trouble by my father because one of my friends from school lent me the CD, The Antichrist Superstar. And I sat and listened to it. And that's when I first fell in love with Marilyn Manson, because I didn't really know nothing about like goth rock and metal and all this stuff. But I was like, but it was like, unless it's got a melodic vibe to it where there's singing and all kinds of crazy stuff in it, then I'll listen to it. But I'm not going to get up in there with a lot of those metal people that, and then like, oh, excuse me, that hurt my throat. On. I'm like, how the hell do y'all do that for 90 minutes? That is not singing. Y'all sound terrible. But people like that shit. So you know what I say. If you like it, I love it. But I like the fact that it was like, okay, if you do like rock, heavy metal, that sort of thing, but and he kind of added the industrial stuff in there, like similar to Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. If you got a melody to you and you singing, like, I'm here for it. And I like Marilyn Manson back then. But then all them accusations came out. So I'm like on the fence when it comes to listening to him, because I'm like, damn. I still listen to the music. Like, I listen to Antichrist Superstar. I still listen to Mechanical Animals, and I listen to the industrial stuff every now. So every now and again, I do visit Marilyn Manson. But then you had all them accusation stuff that came out. But look, was he ever convicted like R. Kelly? So until we get to a conclusion with all of that, at least I don't remember off the top of my head. I may have to do research. But I'm not surprised that he's back to, doing independent. Well, he's independent artist, because the majors aren't majoring like they used to anymore. So maybe it was smart for him to go independent. They say he slammed major labels for dropping before investigating and the trials cleared his name. Oh, so you didn't. So there was no, he was found not guilty, whatever. So it's like, yeah, if he didn't do that. And here's the thing with Marilyn Manson, because I read his book, Long Hard Road Out of Hell. I actually bought the book and I read it because, you know, as a teenager, I was like obsessed with Marilyn Manson and that whole vibe because I always like controversial shit. That was me and my rebellious, you know, when I was a rebellious teenager. I was like, yeah, I got to listen to Marilyn Manson because it pisses people off. So yeah, when I read the book, it was like all the weird stuff that he was dealing with, like growing up as a kid and hearing the stuff from his family and like the things he was into and all other stuff. And it's just like, that plays into your psyche. So maybe he was really into some freaky type of sexual shit. But look, if he was cleared of any wrongdoing, then that's what we need to take it as. Let's have vanilla sex and don't know BDM. Well, yeah, look, he was into, I guess, you know, he's not, you know, and there's some people that's into that. There's some people that's just like, okay, vanilla sex is not enough. Like, I'm not somebody who would just sit up in here and just, you know, stick it in and do a couple of thrusts, missionary, and then that's it. Like, sometimes, first of all, that type of sex is lame. Like, I'm into, like, you know, throwing guys up against the wall and biting your nipples, do all kinds of, like, I'm into a little rough play, but at this point, you got to get a little permission before you start getting into that stuff. But back then, I don't think they were asking for that. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't hunching the women that he was hunching. So I can't speak on, you know, what happened. But if they found him not guilty, then that is what it is. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about Miss Cardi B, who is working by root canal nerve, but we'll entertain why she working my root canal nerve. So apparently, this ungrateful heifer decided to lash out at her fans as she canceled her next album in a tweet and delete spree, which she said she blamed on her team because she said they got a second account and they was deleting what she was posting up on there. So, you know, it's been 6 years since Cardi released her 2018 blockbuster debut album, Invasion of Privacy, which featured hit singles Bodak Yellow and I Like It with J Balvin and Bad Bunny. Now, Cardi has released a number of standalone singles since then, including monster hits WAP with Megan Thee Stallion in 2020, and most recently dropped buzz singles like Enough, Miami, which was originally believed to be part of her long-awaited sophomore effort. Now, despite assuring on Complex's 360 with Speedy that her new album would finally arrive this year, it seems as though the 31-year-old rapper is backpedaling on her promise based on a recent interaction with fans on Twitter. So a fan named Todd shared a tweet on Tuesday poking fun at Cardi's past promises of her off-delayed album, writing, "I'm so excited to put out new music. I can't wait to drop my album. Wait until I drop this song. Album coming soon." And apparently Cardi didn't like that. Wait, let me show y'all this tweet. Because I did cackle. Yeah, so it was this. I'm excited to put out the music. I can't wait to drop my album. Wait until I do this song. Album coming soon. And then, so Cardi went. I mean, there was a bunch of them because then one person posted this one, and I was saying that they posted like a little shot of all the times that she came out and said that she was going to drop a new album, and never did. Okay, so let me scroll down. Okay, so she went on social media and the person went, Barty Crave said, "Hollering because you feel hit." Because you know, I say a lot of the show, a hit dog will holler. She said, "No, it's just annoying. This means a lot to me, and it's always a complaint and crying with this pussy ass fan base." And then she went and said, "See, your problem is that you want to create a cult, and I'm just too real for that." This is what Ty wrote back. And then Cardi went on to say, "That's my thing. Like, okay, I get it. Talk your shit, but this is a big accomplishment for me. And of course, here comes Barty Gang complaining like, damn, I can't celebrate shit." Because a one person, Tanya, posted, instead on celebrating a new achievement with Cardi, y'all want to be negative, always killing a happy moment. What else? Okay, so and then Cardi agreed with what it said, a back and forth ensued between Cardi and the fan, who suggested that she can't handle an honest opinion. Girl, shut up. You not You're not here for nobody but to boost your ego because in real life, you overlook. This is what Cardi responded. Who are you here for? For me? You the same bitch that complains for every single thing I do, each thing, so you can't be here. Child, y'all be hurting my brain with the way y'all be talking. I said, I do each thing, so you can't be here for me, but your own ego. You can't gaslight me. It's time for her to pull back from social media platforms. Her engagement with fans is unappreciated, wrote another fan named Pink. Transparency backfires because of her fans' weirdo entitlement. Cardi doesn't have to interact with them. She chooses to, and it's never good enough for them. And Cardi went and said, exactly, I tell myself this all the time, and I hate that I fall back and start interacting again, and it bites me in the ass. Anyway, no album this year. I don't care. I'm relaxing this year, dropping these features I already committed to, and traveling and enjoying my summer. And then another individual claimed that the Invasion of Privacy album is nowhere near done and accused the rapper of blaming fans for her own incompetence. So another person posted Bianca Barty said, we kind of already knew that, babe, when I guess she was talking about the whole thing about she tells herself this all the time and she hates that she falls back and starts interacting with the fans. And then Cardi responded saying, good, well, now I'm confirming. And said, yep, it's not done because there's no album. Congratulations, you won a prize for your answer. Here's your prize, Cardi responded. Barty never announced a title nor introduced artwork for the supposed new album she promised to release this year, saying, my next announcement will not be like a single type of ish. It will be my album cover. This is what she told Speedy Mormon last month on Complex's 360 with Speedy at the 38:27 mark, saying one single and y'all getting the album. She still, look, I love you, Cardi, but I'm tired of you with the bullshit. First of all, I feel your fans and how they're irritated and frustrated over the fact that you have yet to release new music. You should have been released music a long time ago. Like, I get if you were sitting at home being a mother and wanting to raise the kids, because I already said, like, I don't understand how one album ended already. You was out here spreading your legs for Offset and you decided to have all these damn kids, which of course took time away from you really building your career as a rapper. When how you come out with one album and then you take 6 years to release the next one and counting? Because I think it was April when you released Invasion of Privacy 6 years ago, and we're already in May. So it's already been 6 years since last month that you released your debut album. Yeah, you've been giving people songs here and there, and your fans, I guess, are just, they're frustrated because it's like, okay, girl, at what point are you going to put out music? Look, Nicki Minaj already breaking records with her arena tour because she just wrapped it, and that's sort of she made history with the amount of, how well and her tour did. You got Megan Thee Stallion just started her arena tour, and I've been seeing the clips and stuff online. I'll be working her show next week, so I'm trying to not look at all the pictures and the videos and all that stuff, so that way I can go in and look and see how all the set and everything is and take that all in on my own accord without having things ruined online. So, but look, there's 7 months still left in the year. So hopefully she decides to change her mind. Hopefully she's in her feelings. She's giving that typical Libra shit, where it's like, you always mad about something. But I've always been saying this for the longest with her, that I really wish she would stop allowing the negative opinions of social media trolls to dictate, sorry, I got tongue-tied, to dictate what she does creatively. Just block out the noise, get out of your feelings, and drop the damn album already, because people been waiting. It should not take long for somebody to release a record. She was like, oh, I would do a song, and then 2 days later, I would get tired of that song, and then I would do it over, and those other stuff. At this point, it's not about you, sis. Like, I know you want to make music and you want to constantly, because you got to tour these songs or perform for the rest of your life. But there comes a point where it's just like, you know what, you got to let go and let God when it comes to these tracks. It's like, you know what, do the song, put it in the thing, in the library, the cloud, wherever you store your music. And when it's time to put together the track list, then put the album together and put it out there. You're always going to encounter people who are going to criticize and not like what you do. That's just the way the world works. You can put out a record, the album is, everybody like the album. There's always going to be that 1 or 3 that will always not like what you do or will criticize what you do. But of course, Cardi being the one that she has to make sure that she allows the 3 people out of the thousands who are actually craving and wanting that music She allows them three that's bitching to dictate how she does her career. So my thing is this, the same thing I said about Anita Baker, I'm going to say to you, if this is not something that you want to do, then just bow out gracefully for the music business and just tell people, you know what? I'm a one album wonder. I don't want to put out no music. Or maybe I'll just throw out a single here, there, and everywhere and just twerk in a music video, and that's what I'll do for the rest of my life. If you don't want to put out music, then don't put out music no more. But stop gaslighting your fans, because if these people that's out here supporting you, it's like, yeah, they're going to have a say-so or whatever, but get off social media and stop letting these people get in your ear about what it is that you want to do with your career. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, they'll go out and buy your stuff and they'll support you, but they don't own you. And a lot of times it's like I understand, like, we put so much pressure on women more so than men when it comes to releasing music, but she's got to learn to put out, that noise. You're not living in real life loving hip hop where you got to just be beefing with people all the time. First of all, that's just exhausting on your whole, aura, your energy. I'm not allowing all that negativity to come into my situation and fuck up my stuff. I'm gonna just keep moving and doing whatever. And if y'all like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. And she needs to get to that place. Otherwise, like I said, stop making music. If you don't want to make music no more, then just make that announcement that you retire. And that way, these fans can stop, waiting for a damn Cardi B album, and they can move on to the next rapper, whoever that may be. So, Cardi, just put out the damn album, and whatever happens, because you can't control how people are going to receive it. Also, if she's on a label, what label is she on? Is she on Warner Brothers? Because I think she might be. If she's on a record label, does she even have a say so whether or not she can release an album when she wants to? Like, if you owe your label, I don't know what her deal is, but if you owe, like, say, your label, you have a 3 or 4 album deal, don't you have to follow through with that? Otherwise, your label could take you to court or whatever. They're going to be like, oh, no, you either take us or you're going to have to buy us out. We could sue you, whatever the case is. So I don't know if she necessarily has to say so whether or not she could, release an album or don't release an album. So that's what I'm curious about, because a lot of you artists, y'all be acting like y'all run shit out here, but these labels run y'all. So let me know what you guys think about this story down below, because I am genuinely curious. All right, so let's see. Says she's striving for perfection and is desperate. Most of the people trolling her are younger than or teenagers, and she's letting them get to her shit. Yeah, she is insecure, and I understand. Like, look, she's too old for that. She's 30 years old. Not saying that we all are insecure. We all have our insecurities, regardless of age. But, ma'am, at some point, you need to grow up. You need to mature. Stop running after Offset, because I told y'all I knew her and Offset was together before it made the news, because she was at my job at the Knicks game, and I seen her. She was literally in my peripheral view. She was literally across the stadium at the Knicks game, front row. He was next to her with that damn scarf on his head, looking like somebody, looking like Miss Daisy. Like he was driving her around. And with them cowboy, I was like, why he dressed like somebody auntie? Like he was literally on top of whatever, like all up on her phone. They was hugged up or whatever. I was like, she ain't never broke up with him. She just kind of keep it low key. But then every now and again, they do be popping up places. So they back together again. I said, any person who wants to start an immediate family with you in the budding of your career is a red flag. And we've been hearing her going back and forth with that man and stuff, with all of that. I said, Cardi B is going to have fun. Well, look, first of all, I said maybe Cardi B and Jennifer Lopez need to go on tour together, since they want to take forever to release records. And at this point, it seems like nobody cares. And it says she may not watch the critical and commercial success. And no, I don't think she will. And I feel like nobody can match the critical and commercial success of your first album. It's the fact that, and that should be fine. Like, because that's probably what she's afraid of. That, okay, if I release the album, then what if the sophomore album doesn't give as much as an impact as the debut? Well, maybe it would have if you were to release that sophomore album 2 years after you released the debut album. But now it's been a long time. So now the people's tastes have changed. The way people receive music has changed within that 6-year period. So now I think you are making it harder on yourself when you don't release new music. So she's gonna get it regardless. And I feel like I agree with what you're saying, is that it's not gonna match the commercial success, and that should be fine because the fans want new music. And I would hope that her fans would be mature enough that when people want to come in and be the naysayers and throw shade, that it was like, okay, so yeah, we're not expecting the album to be as big as the debut. Nobody's albums do that. I mean, look, Michael Jackson went through it. Well, has he had an album that was as big as Thriller? But he kept releasing music. Thriller was like one of his biggest records of all time. What was it, 30 million copies sold? So if Michael Jackson was impressed, well, I don't know why the fuck Cardi B needs to be. Oh yeah, she's on Atlantic. Well, yeah, they need to look. They need to tell her, bitch, you need to put out that album. Like, we're not playing with you. And it was like, but that's what she chose, and it's affecting her career. Yeah, exactly. You decide to lay down and have a baby with Offset problematic ass, but if that's what you want to do, that's the sword you got to lie on, sis. And it said she's been saying that I have no choice. I have to put it out. Well, yeah, look, if she said that she has no choice, then she could sit up here and gaslight her fans all she wants and say, oh yeah, fuck y'all, I'm not gonna put it out. So, Atlantic said, you got no damn choice, bitch, you gonna put it out. So stop playing. Stop trying to lie to your fans when you don't have as much control with the music as you trying to play like you do. And I like Cardi B, but she playing too much. And her last two singles didn't hit the #1 in the Billboard charts. Yeah, because she went on a whole rant and talking about how many streams she got on Spotify and all sorts of stuff. Name a bitch that had been able to hit the same amount of numbers. I said, child, first of all, I don't buy into the whole Spotify number shenanigans on some of the stuff, especially with all the recent stories that's coming out about Spotify and songwriting royalties and all that other mess that I was reading, that I glossed. I didn't read it, but I saw like the heading, and I need to look into that to know further about what I'm talking about. So I don't want to say too much when I really don't have all the facts. But yeah, well, first of all, I didn't think them songs was all that good. I do like Megan Thee Stallion's video, but as far as the song goes, the recent one with the music video, with the video game and stuff, I don't know if I like the song though, but I do like the video. The video sells the song. He said she let Nicki win. She's now Lauryn Hill in this era. She might have, because I told her it's like Nicki's tour actually is like one of the biggest selling tours. Well, for a female rapper, I think in history. Like that arena tour was selling, and I told her I worked Nicki's concert, so it was sold out. Like it was packed up in there. Okay, so all right, let's move on. Child, let's talk about this witch. Let's talk about Young Miami foolish behind, and the fact how she trying to pander to the gays now. Because you know, when all else fails with your career, who do they run to? The faggots. So apparently, Young Miami has curated a capsule collection featuring the phrase "the gays" that she will be selling and giving the proceeds from to support GLAAD for LGBTQ plus programming. So this is where it all goes wrong. Not only is she trying to pander to the gays, but she's also trying to help support GLAAD, who, you know, we just had a conversation about GLAAD being complicit in the whole genocide that was going on in Gaza and Palestine, that whole sort of situation. And here she go jumping in this situation. So it says the move comes after she attended the GLAAD Awards in New York City last week. She shared a teaser video for the drop on social media, featured the caption "Surprise drop on Friday, May 17th, in celebration of Pride Month coming this June." Saying this one is for, in caps, she put, "the gays." A portion of the proceeds will be donated to GLAAD for the LGBTQ plus programming. What I should have did was I should have showed y'all this clip so that way this ad. Now, hold on a second. Well, I'll pull that up in case y'all didn't see it. Of course, they had to find the biggest sissy with the greasiest lips to be the promoter of this ad. But look, I don't make the news. I just report it. Please hold.
What's going on? I'm Supervisor Sexy here at the Gays. This is the Gays Guide to get your summer activated. Rule number 1, make sure all stretch marks are visible to bring the boys in. Rule number 2, make sure you leave all boys behind who are not worth your time. And most importantly, rule number 3, make sure you shop all CarishaPlease.com.
Okay. So look, we're gonna leave that picture like that. But anyway, so but now Carisha is being dragged on social media But here's what she said before we get to that, before the drag H, in case you're not aware. So she said, in light of gay pride, I want to do something for the LGBTQ community, which is a big part of my fan base. This is what she said in a press statement. Oftentimes, I feel like they're left out, so I wanted to celebrate and dedicate this collection to them to make sure they feel seen and heard. It's funny. Well, look, at least she's early with her shit, because she gives me like she's no different than the rest of these organizations that, June 1st, y'all all for the pride, y'all all for the gays, y'all all for the community. And then when July 1st roll around, all of a sudden y'all done disappeared. I was like, where all the people went? Where's Disney? Where's Wells Fargo? Where's Chipotle? Where's all them people that was out here talking about they live for the gays, and y'all be doing your little special milkshakes or whatever at your favorite, food spot. But then July 1st come around, and it's like, all the rainbows is gone. So the people was reminding her over, some posts that she posted in the past. And she received backlash from the community. And there was a tweet that she posted back in 2018 regarding the idea of having a gay son. Now, she said in the post, oh boy, if I ever see any type of gay-ish in my son, I'm going to beat that boy so bad. And this is what she said on January 28th of 2013. But she has apologized, and she posted on social media. She said, my deepest apologies and heart goes out to those who have that tweet and were offended by that. The City Girls appreciate all the support no matter what their sexuality is. The comments I made about Haitians, I was wrong and immature. She said something about Haitians. And immature to even let my opinion about an individual person be my opinion about an entire culture. Some users on social media also brought up the old tweets in response to the new merch. So and then she also revealed on Jason Lee that she's bisexual, and she's good Judy's with Saucy Santana. And she posted, and some of the people in the tweets posted this. It said she the same person that said she would beat her son if he was gay. Another person posted, stop using gayness as an accessory. That's basically what it all sums up to, in my opinion. Another person put, you must be down bad if you got to invoke the same community of people you beat your child if they were a part of. Nasty work. Another person tweeted, so does this mean you won't beat your son if he's gay? Another person tweeted, notice how none of the gays like this? Yeah, we don't. And another person put, I don't understand why you would want to donate anything to our community when you would beat your son for being a part of it. Just want something to make sense. This is what Lolo Lavish had to say. Another person put, I know people can change, but didn't Young Miami double down on her comment, or am I tripping? And number two, isn't GLAAD purposely failing to acknowledge queer Palestinian lives, or am I tripping? Well, no, you're not tripping, because we talked about that with the whole, them being complicit in the whole genocide and being a part of an organization that is failing to acknowledge queer Palestinian people. So when people come out here and talk about, oh, y'all should be caring about, why you worrying about them people over there? Because them same people that you trying to protect or you trying to fight for would kill you if you went over to their part of the world. And it's like, but wait a minute, y'all seem to forget that Palestinian people are also, there's LGBTQ, or we'll just say generalizing, we'll say, to put it under the whole umbrella, there are queer Palestinian people that are being affected by this as well. There are also queer Palestinian people in America who are seeing their families being massacred in real time. And also, let's not forget that we live in a society right now, America, that they're rolling back the rights of LGBTQ people as we speak. They're cracking down on trans people using bathrooms. They're cracking down on drag queens reading to kids. They're cracking down on a lot of situations. And like I said, we have organizations that are trying to pull out of pride events because they're worried about MAGA and all these other bigots that's coming out that's coming after the gays. While politicians are trying to roll back our rights, not just queer lives, but Black lives. Or we have cops out here openly shooting people because they're living in an open carry state, and you knock on my door because you're thinking that this is the door that the police is supposed to kick in and they're looking for a suspect. And so the guy hears somebody banging on his door and hearing this ruckus, and now he's spooked, and then he goes and grabs his gun. This is a dude that has a license to carry his gun. The minute he opened his door, the cops didn't even acknowledge, tell him drop the weapon, whatever the case was, they just started opening fire. So we live in a society where in our own backyard we're being affected by this stuff. So when people come out here and start saying like we need to worry about, well, why are we worrying about them people over there? Because the same shit that's happening over here there can happen here, if not already. That's why. And we need to stop always giving a damn about or kind of being dismissive of other people because you think you're not affected. Because when they done with them people, you don't think they coming after your ass next? Another person put, not Young Miami trying to pander to get LGBT fans. Girl, bye, we belong to Nicki. Now, child, I'm not even going to go there with that because didn't Nicki Minaj say some homophobic stuff too? Like when it came down to the church or whatever it came, but she said, look, she go with what God say. So I don't belong to nobody. None of these divas and stuff move me in regards of like gay community and all that other stuff. Except maybe Madonna, because she's always been at the forefront before it was popular. Then another person said, "Didn't you beat your son? I mean, didn't you say you beat your son if he was gay?" So now now you parent to the gay. So now we pretty much got a gist that everybody's going in on Young Miami and saying that she's pretty much using the community for attention. And I truly believe that. It's like, girl, I'm not. First of all, you're not getting a dime out of me. If y'all want to go and y'all want to support, be my guest. But I'm not giving somebody money that you said that shit about. Like, I don't feel like, on one hand, I do feel like we should allow people to evolve and people to change. I'm not buying it from her. I just feel like that you said what you said, you believe what you believe, and now you're in a space where it could potentially not get you opportunities and that you won't be able to get. Because, a lot of times when it comes down to it, celebrities will run to the gays because they know they're the loyal fan base and they'll support them. And we've seen this happen before. There's been conversations that I've had on this show and with queer, organizers and queer Black organizers, people who do like Black Pride events or any kind of pride event where they're inviting, where they're inviting rappers or musicians or like a Trina type or whatever the case is. I'm not saying Trina is like this because I don't think she is. But when you invite these big name celebrities like a Carisha and all these other people to perform at Black Pride instead of putting your money into these actual artists who make music for us, FUBU, for us, by us. When you got these queer artists that are actually out here making music for the community, when you got queer rappers, real rappers that can spit, the stud rappers, the gay rappers. I'm not talking about Lil Nas X. Like, there's so many other lists of queer artists that are out here that are making music. When you're not inviting them to these spaces and using that money to give them a platform to perform and get their name out there, because you're thinking that the only way you could draw people to these events is because you have to get a Carisha, and them Carishas be the same ones that behind the scenes, and I've had people tell me this has happened, that these same people that come in there and get that $100,000 check that y'all made out to get these artists there be the same ones that be sitting there calling you all kinds of sissies and punks and shit in them rooms while they getting ready. So we need to move away from that. And not all skin folk are kinfolk. We have to be vigilant and smart enough to know, like, when certain people are actually for us and when people are pandering to us because they know the gays, they can get some money out, they can get a quick coin out of us. So let me know what y'all think down below. Do y'all care enough to buy these merch? Are y'all planning on supporting Carisha and GLAAD's fake ass and this whole, proceeds and campaign and fashions and merch or whatever the hell it is? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we do have comments. This sale member said, "Girl, but ain't nobody gonna buy that shit." No, well, I know I'm not. And it said, "Performative activism is no longer profitable and lucrative anymore. More of these corporations are dipping out. They better start waking up before it's too late." And look, if it ever comes down to a point where we have performative activism and then we have these companies that want to come in and only profit off us because everything is great now, then I feel like we need to get to a place where it's like we no longer we have to get back to the beginning of what Pride was truly about. And Pride was a protest. It wasn't about getting these big name corporations to come and back us and stuff, because I feel like a lot of times these organizations and the people running them have forgotten what the true point of Pride and everything is all about. It's not about getting an endorsement from Starbucks. It's not about getting an endorsement from Disney or the fact that they want to put a rainbow Mickey Mouse or whatever on a sticker and then you put it on your body or whatever. You're so happy. Oh, we're accepted. I don't like that performative shit. That's one of the main reasons why I don't even go to Pride anymore, because I feel like Pride in so many ways, like GLAAD, is a former shell of itself. It doesn't, it's not what it used to be. or people have forgotten what the true point of, you know, living your pride is about. Because if you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love anybody else, right? All right, let's talk about this broad. Let's talk about Kim Kardashian and her getting booed and her playing the victim. So Kim, you know, had a particularly rough go of it during Netflix's roast of Tom Brady earlier this month and reached out to comedian Nikki Glazer to laud her ability to withstand the abuse. Now, comedian Nikki Glazer recently shared insights into how Kim Kardashian truly felt after being mercilessly booed during Netflix's Tom Brady roast, as reported by Radar Online. Now, exposing a private message sent by Kardashian herself, Glazer shed light on the reality star's reaction to the hostile reception she received. Now, during the live taping of the event, Kardashian faced a barrage of boos from the audience, reportedly prompted by references to her past feud with Taylor Swift. Now, sources close to Kardashian revealed that she was visibly upset by the incident, with Glazer confirming their sentiment and disclosing Kardashian's comparison of the experience to abuse. Now, during an interview on the We're Here to Help podcast with Jake Johnson and Gareth Reynolds, the female comedian who won the award for Best Roast of the Night revealed that Kim DM'd her on the way in. She said, "You killed it on that roast." Pretty much, I wrote back. "Kim, oh my God, I was trying to make eye contact with you every chance I could mouth to you. You effing killed, girl," is what Glazer shared. The podcaster thanks the Skims founder for writing to her and being so nice. She was probably trying to, she was probably using, see, there's my cynical side coming out. She was probably trying to ease the blow from, you know, y'all trying to go in too hard on her. Maybe what she should have did, she should have DM'd Tom Brady to not bring up her past and shit, and all the other people that was roasting her throughout the show. So Glazer initially thought the conversation would end there, but Johnson and Reynolds encouraged her to check if Kardashian had replied. Glazer laughed, joking that it would be so anticlimactic if she didn't. However, Kardashian did reply saying, "Oh, thanks, and you killed it. I don't know how you do this. It's abuse. LOL." Despite the friendly exchange on social media, Glazer humorously downplayed the possibility of a budding friendship between her and Kardashian, suggesting that the reality star did not indicate any desire to hang out further. Child, I would not. What are you actually going to talk about with Kim Kardashian? And it's funny because Andrew Schultz was there and he compared her to like a doll, like I guess a hollow shell of herself. Like there's nothing behind those eyes of hers. And to me, it's like when you're comparing and saying like this roast is like a form of abuse. I mean, isn't that what roasts are? It's sort of like you go in and people go and they roast you. I feel like this cannot be your first time ever seeing a roast or whatever. Like roast exists all over TV. I don't know if it's on, does Comedy Central even exist anymore? I mean, I don't know. I don't have cable, but when you go on social media, I'm sure you can find like old roasts and stuff. Like I said, the Joan Rivers roast still lives rent free in my mind, even though I can't stand him. The Donald Trump roast was everything. Like there's been many. I think didn't they do one on Kathy Griffin too? Like there's been so many roasts that they've done over the years that I absolutely love the roast. We know what we're gonna get when we see these roasts, and when you watch them, it's like everybody gets got, including the people that are up there roasting. So if I was up there and I was roasting somebody, I'm gonna get red for points. If you ever watched an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race and they used to do their roasts, everybody got. The queens that were roasting got roasted. RuPaul got roasted. The judges got roasted. Everybody got roasted. The best one, in my opinion, was. Well, it was one with Jinx Monsoon, which was funny, and then but the Bianca Del Rio one, bitch, that was everything. That always would be my favorite one. I kind of wish we could have got like a whole set with her with that, but that's her wheelhouse. So you know they had to do that season with her. But to me, it's just like, yeah, you call it abuse because you remember Kim got booed at the Tom Brady roast, which they wound up editing out. And one user expressed delight in the response, stating, "I love that they booed her." Another person said, "Saw the SNL episode because everybody kept praising it and she is not funny. She just keeps repeating the same things everyone has been making fun of her for. The tape thing is so old too." This is what another person said. Another person went and said, "The whole show was awful, not funny at all." Expressed sheer satisfaction at the Kardashian reception. Someone declared, "I'm so glad. This just made my soul happy." And my thing is, if she ever here talking about it's abuse, I'm like, sis, first of all, you don't know what real abuse is. And you sit up here talking about it's like abuse. But I'm like, look, Kim, if you need a reminder of what real abuse is, maybe you need to get back with that madman, you know, that former emotional abuser that you was with. Kanye West. Maybe you need to get back with him because wasn't nobody abusive like he was abusive to you. And I feel like she really met her match when she got with Kanye. So, you couldn't talk about this abuse. It's like, no, this is what, if you're going to go into a roast or whatever, this is what is expected from the roast. It's like you're not exempt from getting dragged. And yeah, people are gonna bring up your past because girl, your past, even though it don't live there no more, you use sex to make your career what it is. And it was sporadically happening throughout your career with all these different men you was in a relationship with, where people seem to know you more for than your accolades. And yes, you've created skims and you've done all these things, and people was keeping up with the Kardashians, not that much anymore. But you know, you have the reality shows and all the endorsement deals and creating your Skims line and doing all these things. And now I'm hearing like she's moving in the sports world with her Skims line and stuff. So I don't know if she's doing it with the NBA, but I think she's doing stuff with female sports and all this other, stuff. So for her to sit up in here and try to act like that she's so, trying to act like she didn't get where she got because of, Ray J's skinny curved dick is disingenuous to us and the people. So Kim, get off my line with this bullshit. I guess that's all I gotta say on that. But let me know what you guys think about this comment below. Was she up in here trying to use the words? Like, you gotta be careful with the type of words and stuff that y'all be using out here in regards of, oh, what's abuse? It was abuse. Bitch, it wasn't no damn abuse. You don't know what real abuse is. Okay, so now let's move on and let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? Well, apparently, her cherished Manhattan penthouse, once held as her dream abode, has been sold off by her guardian. And this is, according to the New York Post. So the 59-year-old's 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom property has been offloaded for $3.75 million, marking $822,000 less than her $4.5 million she purchased it for in July of 2021. Now, the New York Post broke this story on Monday. It says Wendy's dream has always been to live in Manhattan in a dream apartment, but never got a chance to do so. It is a very unfortunate situation. This is what an insider shared with the outlet. This comes 3 months after it was revealed Williams had been diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia and the language disorder aphasia. The former Wendy Williams show host has been battling a series of health issues in the past few years, forcing her career to come to an end in July of 2022, saying over the past few years, questions have been raised at times without Wendy's ability to process information, and many have speculated about Wendy's condition, particularly when she began to lose words, act erratically at times, and have difficulty understanding financial transactions. This is what Williams' team announced in a statement in February. Now, despite the diagnosis, Wendy is still able to do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. She is appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way. Now, Williams made several surprising moves, including selling off her personal belongings like her iconic purple chair for the long-running show amid her tax troubles. The star was slapped with a federal tax lien after being accused of owing more than $500,000 of unpaid taxes. Williams' health and mental struggles were featured in the documentary Where's Wendy Williams. Now, what I don't understand, and then you had, Sabrina Morrissey, so on Lifetime, to prohibit the documentary from airing, but it didn't work. But I'm sitting there like, if you were her court-appointed guardian, weren't you aware of what was going on? Like, it just goes to show that you were just there. And wait a minute, isn't Wendy's worth $60 million? Like, where's all that money? Where did all of it go? Like, I understand she's still having the drama with Wells Fargo. I don't know if that money is still tied up somewhere, or the fact that Sabrina has been spending Wendy's money to pay off all these people that's been working under her with all the lawyers or whatever the case is. Like, what's been going on with her money? And then also, if she had that mansion, why did they mark down over $800,000 when you couldn't have sold it for the asking price? Like, what are y'all doing over there? It just feels like y'all just fucking up her thing. Y'all messing with her money. I really wish her family could really get aboard and figure out what's going on with this whole thing and really try to get Wendy back on their side. I don't know if she's still in a rehab facility in Florida and working on getting her stuff back together. Like, I don't know what's happening with that. But you know what? I just feel bad and sorry for everything that Wendy's going through, and I wish her the best. And we just need to get these disgusting freaking vultures out of her life. So, good luck, Wendy, and shout out to you. All right, let's move on and let's talk about James Wright Chanel, who is finally moving forward with his suit against Chrisean. So, according to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Blueface's on-again, off-again girlfriend was handed the legal paperwork by a process server on May 4th of 2024. The process server found the reality star / reality star. We'll just keep it at that because what she do is not rapping. Is that at Cathedral High School in Los Angeles, Chrisean posted on social media she would be at the location for football practice at 6:30 p.m. Her announcement caught Wright's process server's eye, who utilized the information and served Chrisean at 5 p.m. on the date in question. As Radar Online previously reported, Wright sued Rock on February of 2024 over an incident that went down on November 11, 2023 in DTLA. That would be downtown Los Angeles. So Wright said that he was in a dressing room at the Novo when he started talking to Rock. And this, was this was during like a show that Tamar Braxton was doing. The lawsuit claimed during the short conversation, Rock commented to Wright how nice he was and how different he was from everyone else at the event who had been mean to her. Rock was crying and visibly upset because she stated everyone was lying about her not being where she was supposed to be for her part of the performance. Wright believes and based thereon alleges that Rock was misinformed about her role that evening, and she was only supposed to participate in the ending of the concert performance called the twerk portion. His petition added, Wright believes that based thereon alleges that Rock thought she was supposed to have a larger performance role individually as a rap artist. Wright also said that he tried to console Rock. He said he suggested she was not in the right place during the show, which upset her. Rock became upset with Wright and stated that if he again said she was not where she was supposed to be, she was going to hit him. Wright politely told the defendant, "I promise you, you were not on the side of the stage." Wright said Rock immediately using the hand she was wearing. You know what? Radar Online, why don't y'all proofread before y'all hit send? Because now I'm looking like they put in the same word twice, and it's all like confusing me as I'm reading it. And now it's looking like I'm kind of illiterate. But Wright said Rock immediately using, that's what they put, using the hand she was wearing large champion-style rings, struck him several times in the face. His suit said, following the assault while Rock was being removed from the dressing room and continued to shout foul, obscene, and insulting language towards plaintiff, such as F word, ass, N word, and I'll hit that mother. Was it Mother Flower? Okay, I think that's what it is. MFer. Again, that's what they were trying to say. Wright said he suffered because, I be trying to like watch the words when I'm on social media. So it says, Wright said he suffered 2 broken teeth, multiple lacerations, and contusions to his face and nose, as well as emotional distress. He said racked up medical bills for the injuries. His lawsuit demanded unspecified damages. Rock has yet to respond. And this is what I say. I know a lot of people was up in the comments. I mean, at the time when he was coming out saying it, and they were pretty much seemed like y'all was team Chrisean. And like, well, why you coming out saying all this? You going after this girl and all this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Chrisean to me is someone who seems to forget that, you know what, this is not reality TV. Lemmy and them over at Zeus is not going to protect you from everything you do. You cannot always be thinking that just because it works on baddies and all that shit, where you can go beating the shit out of each other for a little $1,000 check over on Zeus, that in real life you could be doing this stuff and get away with it. If you put your hands on people need to realize that there are repercussions you're going to have to pay for that. And that would be you get a lawsuit filed against you, you get sued, or you get thrown in jail. And you cannot be running around here just putting your hands on people and thinking that it's okay and that there's going to be no repercussions for your actions. And I've been saying this about her for the longest. I've been surprised it took this long for somebody to actually go and do what they do. So I'm not mad at James for filing this lawsuit and calling her out on her stuff. Like, okay, if there was a mistake made and there was miscommunication while you're out and about and doing whatever, then that needs to be addressed. But you putting your hands on people, that's not the solution. You cannot be out here constantly trying to put your hands on people. And I like the fact that she's kind of been low-key under the radar. She's trying to turn over a new leaf and change up her ways and not come across as like this violent person anymore. And so far, she's been keeping up that promise. I guess until Blueface get out of jail. When is that? At the end of the summer? So I'm still side-eyeing you, sis. Like, okay, now you've been keeping a low profile and you ain't been giving us the old shenanigans like you used to. And, you've been paying attention, you've been taking care of the baby and everything. But for the most part, I'm just waiting until Blueface get out of jail and see if she still keep that momentum up. But like I said, this whole thing with her and James Wright, like I says, this is the repercussions of your actions. And if you're going to be putting your hands on people, this is the price you're going to have to pay. Pay up, niece. Okay, so, agreed. She was never a rapper. But, they just be hitting everybody with that rapper moniker these days. And so I'm surprised she's not in jail for assault. That's why I'm like, he should have filed assault. But you know what? We, from a society, unfortunately, we need to get out of that narrative of like, oh, y'all always trying to put black people in jail. Y'all always trying to do this. Like, look, at some point, we got to come to a point of accountability. When you do things, you need to face accountability for the things that you've done. Look, I've been in jail. I told y'all this story. Well, some of y'all knew, hey, how you doing? If y'all never heard, I've been in jail for assault, fighting in a bar with a Honda Cosby. Shout out to Funky Don even for that line. But it's like, I've been fighting down at the bar. I've been fighting with, and I've been in situations where, I've had a couple of drinks and I pulled the Jasmine Sullivan and I busted a window. And all of a sudden I tried to run and get away. One of my friends was like, take the money, run. So I was trying to get to the train station, get on the train and get home because, the whole situation, the cops was trying to get me. They got my ass at the train station. Spent the weekend in jail. Did community service, paid my fine. It's behind me. First of all, that record is gone. Like, you're not going to find it. Because, look, when I had to go for a job and they were like, have you ever committed a crime or whatever the case? Look, I still got the job. So misdemeanors, they don't go hard for you on that, like a federal crime. That's all they care about. They care about the federal crime. They don't care about the misdemeanor. So I've been in jail for assault and stuff. And that's why I understand what people like James is doing. It's like when you go and you do things to people, you have to realize that there's repercussions for what you do. Yes, jail. I've been to jail. But this is the price you pay. And Tasha says she gets away with everything. Crybaby wannabe gangster Latino industry plant. I'm screaming. Stay disrespecting her slow. It's all alt records ain't behind no one. I mean, ain't behind no more. Yeah, that's why I said, I was like, look, y'all can't be out here trying to act like goon, pulling that goon shit and trying to act like a gangster or whatever. And like you about that life, but you're not really about that life. So I don't care who you associate yourself with, who you spread your legs for, whatever the case is. A lot of y'all are not about that life, that whole gangster life shit. So stay away from that. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Zayn Malik, who apparently wants to reunite with One Direction. And it took him a decade to come to this conclusion. So singer Zayn Malik is reportedly ready to extend an olive branch to his former One Direction bandmates Niall Horan, Liam Payne, Harry Styles, and Louis Tomlinson 10 years after quitting the group. The British singer is ready. It says that Malik, who's 31, devastated fans when he abruptly quit the pop group in March 2015, citing stress for the reason behind his shock exit. Less than a year later, the former bandmates, Niall, Liam, Harry, and Louis, disbanded, confirming the group would be going on an indefinite hiatus. Now, after nearly a decade of estrangement and bitter jibes, Malik is reportedly looking to build probably because it's spelled the same way. What if his name actually is Zayn Malik, but because, for purposes of Hollywood and, a lot of y'all be trying to whitewash y'all backgrounds and stuff. They're like, oh, I'm gonna just go Malik. And so it's like, is reported, because I have a cousin named Malik. It was like, is reportedly looking to rebuild a friendship, and he's not averse to the possibility of a reunion. So they say he doesn't know if it will ever happen or when, but he would love to start a conversation with the other guys from One Direction and try to make amends with all of them. This is what an insider told the DailyMail.com exclusively, saying he is trying to figure out the best way to reach out because it will be odd, weird, and uncomfortable, but it is something that has been on his mind. The insider insisted the decision is purely based on rebranding or rebuilding relationships, not on getting the band back together to perform, saying whether that leads them to working together again musically is one thing, but Zayn's reasoning is to become friends with his mates that he did so much with. Zayn wants to approach them for forgiveness and friendship. Working with them is not important to him right now. Well, yeah, because he also has a new album coming out this week. So he has a lot, he's been doing a lot of interviews. And I have to say this, one of the things, I think this is the most I've ever heard Zayn speak. He's spoken so much in 1 week than he has in the many years that he's been putting out music. So I am kind of glad that he has gotten to a place where he's kind of gotten his anxiety and mental health and everything under control, because I feel like that is what has stifled him over the years, that he's just not been someone that wants to speak out, and he's kind of been in his shell or whatever the case was. And I think he said that the person that helped him work on his mental health was his daughter, or because he's British, he said my daughter. So it says Malik, who was 17 when the group formed, has been vocal about his estrangement from his bandmates in the years following his departure, claiming nobody reached out, that he never really had a relationship with Styles, that he really didn't like making any friends from the band, which he described as generic as fuck. Well, people like them generic ass songs. And it said last week in a rare interview, he discussed feelings of resentment during his time in One Direction and claimed their maturity level at the time, combined with their initial solo ambitions, put them in competition with each other. Now, I do have that clip that we're going to play. And he was on the Zach Sang show where he talked about it. And yeah, please hold.
The main thing that I always feel bad about, like when I look back over my life, is not enjoying the band enough. Like, I feel like I just took things too seriously, and I'm grateful that I'm able to be happy now. Like, I can actually enjoy things and own my own perspective a bit, like glass half full versus it being half empty. Like, that's my choice, I get to decide what that is. So if I frame, everything in a negative manner, I'm not going to gain no satisfaction from it. But if I move with happiness, I can gain so much more, and I can have a good time and enjoy my life. And I think that's one thing that I'm really grateful for now, that I didn't understand the importance for when I was younger. I didn't understand the importance of just trying to be happy. I had this like teen angst thing going on, chip on my shoulder, where I'm like, it's really cool to just be moody as fuck all the time, you know what I mean? And it's not. Like, you're just a loser. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? Like, you should be a nice person. You should be somebody that people want to be around and enjoy being in your presence, and you should bring light to people's day instead of being this fucking negative cloud of energy,
How do you find peace with that today?
How do I find peace with that? Like, I know it sounds super cliche and I keep saying it, but I feel like my daughter brought that back for me, like brought that color back in my life, and she just makes me happier. I have so much love in me that I didn't have before she was born. She just makes me happy. She laughs all day. She wants to do the silliest things, and she gains so much excitement from it, She just has a whole fresh perspective on life that it had somewhat become gray for me,
It's really special.
Okay.
What is it?
So I can pause that there because I know this video is going to go on for like a good 3 minutes. And y'all can watch the rest of the clip and stuff online, because his interview with Zach Sang is like an hour and a half. And I didn't really watch the whole thing. I just been watching the clips and stuff. But, he also said that, they resented each other to a certain degree because we were solo artists that were put in a band, and we should have never felt that way. And that was all because, Simon Cowell put them all together and all stuff. And it kind of makes me wonder too, because wasn't Fifth Harmony in the same situation? Weren't they like individual? Didn't they did the American version of X Factor, right? And they were solo girls that were thrown together and were a part of a group, and we see what happened with them, that they kind of sort of resent each other quiet as it's kept. I think between Normani and them flops of singles she's been putting out, and I'm no shade, I love Normani, but girl, you are not solo material. Neither is Camilla. So I really feel like y'all need to kind of give each other a call and get back together and do a group situation, because nobody cares about y'all solo music. And this is not me being shady. It's just I'm reading the tea leaves, and the energy is given that yes, them singles ain't given. The two that we heard from Camilla is a chop, and the song we heard from Normani was some boring tight ass R&B track. It's like, girl, we don't want that. Like, you falling under the radar. Same thing with Zayn. I like you, Zayn, but the music is not giving. And I know this album is supposed to come out this week. I'm going to listen to it because you're cute. You know, I like Zayn. I've always liked Zayn. I like his earlier stuff, but like he was kind of going for more that, should we say like he was kind of having like that whole Justin Timberlake vibe? Like, I don't think Zayn's white. Zayn is like what? What is his nationality? I need to look that up. Like, is he, like, I know he's got like, well, the name is kind of giving Muslim background. So I don't know. Is he like from Iran? Is he from Palestine? Is he one of those type of, I need to look that up. But when I see people responding, so let me see if the question is there. Oh, it's not what it's saying, but let me focus on the thing. And that's another thing too. At this point, I don't even think that, oh, okay. So we'll just say in general, because Sailor Mermaid put in the comments he's Arab. So he's got an Arab vibe to him. Of course, based on the name, Zayn Malik. And I actually like the way he spells his name, Z-A-Y-N. That's cute. Like, I can imagine a lot of people out here do name their kids like they did with Kylie, or you know, when they have these celebrity names or whatever, like they'll go and they name their children after the celebrity. Which like, you can't, who was it? Well, look, it doesn't matter. Because I was trying to think, it was like, there was a celebrity that said, oh, Teresa Giudice said she named her daughter Melania after Melania Trump. So that was like that's an example of like someone who named a child after a famous, or someone that they knew was famous. So, it's nice that he's at a place where he wants to get back in the good graces of the group. And I did read the rest of the article, because the article is pretty long, and I don't want to sit in here and just read the whole situation. But at one point, Niall, I remember in a past interview, said that, you know, whenever Zayn would drop something, like, there's no ill will, whatever, whenever the group would release music or whatever, or whenever, not the group, but whenever Zayn would release something, which he was doing over the years, you know, before he took that 6-year break, releases upcoming album that comes out this week. Whenever he, you know, would release something, he said I would text him and leave him a message, even though he would leave it on, you know, he wouldn't answer back. But I sent him like a good luck, best wishes, and all other stuff. And maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe that's the way you need to reach out. Like, reach out to the management of these people, send them a DM on Instagram, or text them, get them, you know, same way that now reached out to you, you reach out to them and have one of them set the olive branch. Because no shade, I mean, do people really want to, I was going to say NSYNC, because it kind of reminds me of that with the whole Justin Timberlake thing. Like, nobody's checking for Justin like that. I mean, Justin still has his fan base and the people who will ride for him and support him in the arena tours or whatever the case is. But I feel like at this point, he needs NSYNC just as much as NSYNC needs him. Because I saw there was Perez Hilton was trying to talking about that he should get half, and then the rest of them will split the rest of the thing. And then that NSYNC is not, you know, they didn't have that big of a hits. What they gonna do? They hits or whatever. And it's like, all artists don't just do hits. They do the deep cuts, they do covers, they do all kinds of stuff if you want to stretch out a show. Just like Megan Thee Stallion, I saw her set list, and she's doing not only her hit songs, but she's also doing freestyles, and she's doing like deep cuts. So that's what you do. If you need to make your show long, you will find a way to pull some songs out your ass to do what you need to do. And when I look at One Direction, honestly, Harry Styles don't need One Direction no more. Harry Styles is that dude. Like, he's a big enough star. He's sold out. Like, he's got a flag, I told y'all, that hangs in Madison Square Garden on the bridge, and from the amount of shows that he did there. And so he's immensely popular. Harry Styles does not need One Direction anymore. I'm even shocked because Niall Horan is coming to my job next month, and he's doing arena tours. I'm like, Niall is that dude where he's doing arena tours? That shocked me. So the rest of them, yes. Louis, child, what he got going from? The only thing I know about him is, since, you know, being in One Direction, he knocked up Cheryl Cole. That's the only thing I know about him. The rest of them, I feel like they need the group. Harry don't need you. Harry don't need the group. But I feel like he might be the bigger nut to crack. because Harry's the bigger star. And if you manage to work it out, make amends, that's great. If not, then move on with your lives and whatever. But I will say this. I'm glad that Zayn, even though he's so young to come to this conclusion, but I guess, when you're in Hollywood, you have the mindset of an old man by the time you're in your 30s because you're in the business and mentally it ages you because you've seen some things that the rest of John Q public doesn't see. So I love the fact that, when you know better, you do better. And he's come to a place in his life that, because of him being, having a kid with Gigi Hadid, who, is dating Bradley Cooper now. And he's moved on and he's found joy and solace in his child. And his child has woken up a part of him that, pre being a dad, he was like this person who had a lot of mental health issues, and his daughter helped him, reignite things in his life that he didn't before. I'm glad he's come to that conclusion. So shout out to Zayn. And if y'all see that video online, definitely check out his interview with Zach Sang and all the other ones he got. That's up. He also did an interview with Kelly Clarkson that was pretty good. We're gonna get into, speaking of which, we got her coming up next. But let's get to the comments. Oh yeah, so it's funny how you said the same thing when I said he was like Little Mix was the same way. It was like y'all stuck them together. They started out as individual girls, and Simon put them together, and then there was like I feel like it's the same energy. It's like we want to be soloists. I don't want to share with a bunch of strangers, but the music overlords look at it as like y'all don't have what it takes to be a solo star, so y'all need to be in a group. Because collectively y'all work versus by yourselves. But I like the fact that, Harry Styles proved them wrong. And to me, I feel like Harry Styles is this generation's Mick Jagger. He gives me that vibe with the way that he moves and performs on stage with the scarves running around, the mic stand in his neck and the way he dresses. He gives me like very much like he was from a past life. Like he would have excelled being a rock star in the 60s or even in the 70s during the glam rock era. Like I could definitely see Harry Styles existing in that time. It's a Harry is already an Album of the Year Grammy winner. Meanwhile, the other ones don't even trust. Or maybe people just don't care. It's like individually, what could these other artists bring to the table? Like to me, I look at Zayn as he could be that type of guy that could kind of go more into a R&B pop territory where more or less, I like that single, the first single he came out with, he was on a motorcycle, I forget the name of it, but I like the first single. The recent single he came out with, it was like, it came and went like a fart in the wind, nobody cared, but to me, Zayn could fill in that space that's kind of like Justin Timberlake, even what the hell's his name? Not Nick Jonas. Like he kind of got that whole vibe. Remember when Nick Jonas was queer baiting and trying to go into the whole, urban pop vibe? Like he kind of gives me like he should kind of excel in that more. I don't know what the new album sounds like, so but I'll find out on Friday. So I'm guessing he heard about NSYNC maybe getting back together and decided to see if he could. Well, I'm sure that there would be a lot of fans of One Direction that would love to see it. Because they're still young enough, in my opinion. Like, to me, I feel like the One Direction fans are the same type of fans that would listen to Taylor Swift. Like, y'all give me, like, you could still kind of pull in that fan base to do a reunion. And plus, with Harry Styles being the big star that he is now, like, I feel like his cachet would even bring in that whole thing. But I guess at this point in his career, he has been able to emancipate himself and do the solo thing, against what Simon Cowell did, that he doesn't want to go back to that. And why would he? So his dad is Pakistan. Oh, so I don't know why I couldn't think of that too. Pakistan, like he's got a Pakistani background. So thank you for that. It's like the church just owned him, not his parents. Did they? Liam knocked out, not knocked out, he knocked her. Because when you say knocked out, it's like, damn, did he punch her? He said Liam knocked up Cheryl. Liam unfortunately has PTSD from the fandom fiction child. First of all, we talked about that on this show where he was sitting over there whining about the PTSD that he endured from the fan fiction that people was making about him and Harry Styles having sex with each other, including there was an episode of Euphoria that played into that. which, child, I'm over Euphoria. Just cancel that shit already. They talking about that is coming back still. I don't care at this point. So Liam unfortunately has PTSD. The Liam, as we know, basically had to go to rehab to fix his alcoholic ways. Oh, you said Larry has PTSD. I said, I was like, who's Larry? You meant Louis Tomlinson. Okay. Yeah, we got it at this point. All right, speaking of, because we were just talking about Zayn Malik, he did a recent interview with Kelly Clarkson. So she's talking about, she finally opened up about her weight loss journey. And the only reason why she's mentioning this is because she got into it with, she had Whoopi Goldberg on her show, who we talked about the other day, revealed that she used weight loss medication to lose weight. So during the Monday, May 13th episode of the Kelly Clarkson Show, Clarkson, who's 42, interviewed Whoopi Goldberg and began their conversation by complimenting Goldberg on how great she looks. She told the View co-host, "Every time I run into you, you look younger. You're like Benjamin Button. It's like crazy every time you walk in. First of all, it's all the weight I've lost. I've lost almost 2 people," replied the EGOT winner, who's 68. "I'm doing that wonderful shot that works for folks who need some help, and it's been really good for me." Clarkson really quickly noted how she has also lost a lot of weight, adding, "Mine is a different one than people assume, but I ended up having to do that too because my blood work got so bad." She continued, "My doctor chased me for 2 years and I was like, no, I'm afraid of it. I already have thyroid problems. Everyone thinks it's Ozempic, but it's not. It's something else." Clarkson explained how the medication is something that aids in helping break down the sugar, noting how her body doesn't do it right. And the American Idol winner clarified that she's not on Ozempic, which is one of the FDA-approved prescription medications for people with type 2 diabetes. The medications work in the brain to impact satiety. What word is that? First of all, it's just like, why I gotta use these words that I'm like, okay, I ain't never heard that word before. But anyway. So it's like the 2 women then reveal how much they weighed at their heaviest, and before they began their prescription medications, Goldberg said she was 300 pounds, and Kelly revealed she was 203 pounds, and she was 5'3" and a half. I'm like, God damn. Well, first of all, Whoopi was huge. At one point when she was on The View, she did balloon. And I don't know if it was because of COVID or medication she was taking that affected her, but I remember there was parts when she did a couple of movies, and she looked huge. But all the weight goes to your face. And then it said, prior to the conversation with Goldberg, the Grammy winner previously shared with People in January that she was able to lose weight because she's been listening to her doctor. She confessed that for a couple of years she didn't. The singer also shared that her new home, New York City, has helped her get in shape. And so I think, here's the thing. I'm glad whatever you need to use to help you lose weight, congratulations to that. I have no problems with people using a little whatever you have to help you to get on your journey, get started on your journey. Because a lot of people say, yeah, just change your diet. Yeah, just hit the gym. That'll be the problem. And sometimes it's like, as you get older, your metabolism slows down. So it's harder for people to lose weight the old fashioned way. A lot of people don't have those fast metabolisms where they could just change their diet and just run, for an hour on a treadmill and the weight just comes off. Like sometimes when the older you get, you need a little help, or some people just like, what, regardless of what you do, the body is not breaking down the sugars and all the other stuff that needs to. So if you need a little help or a little shot, wherever the hell they shoot it, then I'm going to use it. But you got to maintain that lifestyle, which means, yeah, even though I got the shot and the weight was coming off and I lost 60 pounds, whatever the case is, I'm going to still go to the gym. I'm going to still maintain this body and I'm going to still look good. But I think a lot of people are nobody's criticizing Kelly on losing weight. People are criticizing Kelly because she lied about how she lost the weight. And in the beginning, she made it seem like she was doing diet and exercise and walking all over New York. And don't get me wrong, in New York, it is the one place that I love. That's one of the reasons why I love living here, is because I do walk everywhere, especially in the summertime. I be having my little shorts on and my muscle shirts or whatever the case is. And I be coming from the gym and saying, yeah, I got my music, I got my water, I got my towel. And after I come from the gym, whatever, I'll be like, you know what? It's a nice day out. Let me just walk, 30 blocks. Was like maybe a mile or 2, whatever. Back when I lived in Harlem and I worked in Manhattan, I would literally walk from Manhattan to Harlem on a summer day. Walk through the park. I remember when I worked on 100th Street and Broadway in Harlem, I would walk from there to my apartment in 148th and Broadway. Cut through the park, cut through all of that stuff. I was like, that was a great walk, and it would definitely help. So I wouldn't just be quick to jump on a train and take it 5 or 6 stops to my house. I would use the opportunity when I had my bag on. I would change into my workout clothes if I didn't feel like going to the gym, and I would walk. And yeah, so there is ways that in New York you can walk from certain places, and it's a great workout. But that ain't the only way you was losing weight. And I feel like, people should just be honest. It's like when we was talking about the other day, we was talking about Oprah. Just be honest about how you lost your weight. And her apologizing over taking a part in weight loss culture because, Oprah at the time when she was big on her talk show and she was using her platform to endorse all these crazy diets and all this other stuff. And people, because it's Oprah and we're looking at her and you're supposed to trust the people you see on TV, especially their personality, you're inviting them in your home every day, Monday through Friday, you're going to take what they say as gospel. And now, because Oprah pushing 70, she's out here, well, you know better, you do better moment and revealing some stuff. So that's one of the reasons why they're getting on you, Kelly, is because they felt like you wasn't being honest about how you lost the weight. And now that you lost the weight, it'd be nice if you told people what the drug was that you used. Cause damn, I forgot the drug that Whoopi because we talked about the other day on the drug that Whoopi used. They said it's the same drug that Charles Barkley used to lose weight. Because he was trying to, he had gained a lot of weight or whatever. And it's, bad on your body, whatever. And it's, not a lot of people based off of your body and you being pre-diabetic or whatever, not everybody can get to the gym and just be running on a treadmill, especially when, Charles Barkley was a former athlete. I'm sure he's got bad knees and fucked up feet and all that stuff running up and down the court. All them years he was playing basketball. So, yeah, I think I said pretty much enough on this topic. Let me know what you guys think down below. Okay, so we have a comment. And Sailor Mermaid said, I still can't believe the distance you told me. Oh, yeah, that's why I said, like, sometimes I be walking all over New York. I be walking like crazy. I remember one time I walked from 125th Street to 42nd. And I was like, oh, I still feel good. Let me keep walking. I regretted it the next day. But that adrenaline, when it was pumping, I was like, yeah. But I don't know. It's like living in New York. I love walking. I tried to do that when I lived in LA, but I was like, I don't want to die out here. The coyotes might get my ass. So I didn't want to do all of that. But anyway. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Tina Knowles, who is opening up about her daughter Beyonce and all that good stuff. So Tina remains protective, as you know, of her children, despite them being grown and famous. Now, Tina says that her daughter Beyonce's commitment to educating her fan base through her music can scare her at times. Now, she recently appeared on the Naked Beauty podcast and recalled Beyonce's iconic performance at Coachella in 2018, which she later documented for the film Homecoming. Now, I do have a clip. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for this clip. And we're going to listen to what Miss Tina had to say, and then we'll come back and talk.
What I'm so proud of that Beyonce does constantly, whether it was Black is King, showing, African culture in such a beautiful, regal, royal way. And she gets a lot of heat for it all the time.
Super Bowl when we was there with the berets.
With the berets. She's always pushing the envelope and making a conversation happen. And, I remember her telling me at Coachella, I want to, because I was like, oh, I don't think those people got it tonight. Like, I was in the front and I was like, when you start doing all that fraternity stuff,
fake band.
Oh, and I was like, they were looking so confused. And I said, this girl came and asked me, was the Black National Anthem your new single?
Oh my God.
And I said, they not getting it. You're not connecting. I'm really worried because she had a second week. And I remember her looking at me and saying, Mom, some people will get it today. Mm-hmm. Some people get it next week. Mm-hmm. Some people get it next year. But I want them to go research what that is and what that means. And I want them to understand it and create conversation. I feel like I was put on this earth to do that, not just to be an entertainer, but to kind of, ring the bell and get people educated. Yeah. And so this is yet another one. And as a mother, I'm always scared because I'm like, why you got to be the let somebody else do it this time? That's true. She feels like it's her job to educate, not only, and she sneaks that little stuff in there to make you go think and research.
She be ringing bells.
Yes.
I want to talk about your mother, Agnes.
What I'm so proud of them.
Okay, so and that was the end of the clip. But you want to know something? Yeah, Beyonce is no Thursday. That's a Virgo thing. Like we'll say some stuff and we'll slip some shit in there, and then be like, and then a while later, we're like, wait a minute, did I just get gooped? I was like, yeah, we're definitely good at sliding in a little something, and then it impacts you later on. But I was gagging over the comments. Like one person put, I've literally never learned anything from Beyonce through her music, or am I not woke enough? When Negroes be up in here, and that's KNEE-GROWS, when Negroes be up in the comments acting fucking dense and talking about, am I woke enough? And you don't even understand what woke even means when you're using the white connotation or the racist white people connotation of woke. Sometimes we want to slap y'all in y'all damn face with the stupidness that comes out of your mouth. And then another broad puts, I can't read the rest of it. It said Beyonce gives many things, but she's probably implying that education ain't one of them or whatever. But I do agree with Just Key Marie saying, why y'all acting dense 20 plus years into her career, and some of y'all asking, educating us on what? It's like, yeah, well, I guess maybe you are too dense to understand what the hell Beyonce be out here saying, because yeah, she does do that. From the time of her, doing the Super Bowl and coming out as Michael Jackson, giving that Black Panther performance, and to the times of like Lemonade and that era, and then you saw the album from last year, Renaissance, where she was putting in education about the history of house music and the queer Black people and trans people's influence on the culture. And now most recently with album number 2, Cowboy Carter, the history of Black people's contribution to country music and how we founded it. But yeah, it was taken over and infiltrated and, colonized by white folks. So yeah, it's their dominant genre, but we're the ones that started it off. And so Beyonce giving y'all the history and putting little symbolisms, and yeah, during the homecoming and putting in the Black, the HBCUs and all that other stuff and the education behind that. And like when you watch little things, like you catch little nuances and stuff. Beyonce is that girl when it comes to that. And it's funny how like Tina says, well, maybe you should let somebody else do that. I'm like, somebody like who? Because everybody else out here seem to be scared to rock the boat, whatever the case is. And Beyonce is like, you know what? I've already paid my dues. I've already been doing stuff for a long time. And let's be clear. In the beginning of her career, Beyonce was not doing that. She was just, trucking along, making sure that she could become this big phenomenon that she is. And once she hit that plateau of becoming the big superstar, then she was able to use her platform to really do what she really wanted to do, which is make a difference. And edutain, as I like to call it. So it's like, I'm going to educate you, but I'm going to also entertain you. So that's why I call it edutaining. And I understand, like, as a mother, Tina would be worried because it's like, I don't want these people to come out here and make little comments about my child and say negative things. And we do see like the negative racist undertones that comes, especially with this whole Cowboy Carter era. And the fake Facebook posts they be putting online about Morgan Wade turned down work, or who was the other white racist person? They said Kid Rock and another one. I said, okay, y'all just gonna keep recycling this bullshit, put a new racist name under it, and make it like, Beyonce was gonna offer them $20 million to work with her, but they turned it down. I said, first of all, Beyonce would never offer any of them, not even $20 damn to work with her on her music. You talking about some fucking $20 million. Get off my line with that. Because Beyonce would not work with, as someone like her who does extensive research on what she does before she puts it out there, she is not going to slip and work with some corny ass racist country singer, colonizing asshole, to bring any kind of relevance to anything she does. She doesn't need the accolades or the relevance. Anything she puts out gets her a lot of attention. You see how the Beehive and all of them react whenever Beyonce gets on the line and releases music. So, or whatever, or anything. So for y'all to sit up here and try to make up them lies, it's not going to work. So I totally feel you on this, Miss Tina. And yeah, Beyonce is out here educated. I just really wish that, there were other people that was willing to do it. But we don't have those people, unfortunately, that feel like they have that they want to, not rock the boat and come out here and really stand up for something. But like I always say, if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. And we don't have to force all our artists to come out and speak out. But if that's the role you want to take on, then you'll take it on. And I guess Beyonce is like, you know what? This is just now my next thing. I don't just want to get up there and sing my songs and give y'all a show and choreography. Like, I'm not a show pony. Like, if I'm going to get up here and I'm going to perform, I have to give you something meaningful. And, you know, she went to the school of Madonna because Madonna was doing that too. It's like she got up there and Madonna was, you know, not only going to give you a show, but she's going to educate you and also entertain you. So if there's one school that you want to learn to especially have a long-lasting career, I guess that would be it. And to me, I look at it as like, okay, maybe Beyonce will be the next person that'll be in the school of Madonna, where it's like 40 years from now, she'll sell out Brazil, the Copacabana beach. So let me know what you guys think about this story down below. Okay, so it's an edutainment, the best comment. Exactly. So it's just like she's an edutainer. So it's like I'm gonna educate you, but I'm gonna entertain you. And I don't mind a little education in something that you were inspired by and it influenced you creatively. People don't just be walking around in life like, duh, I'm gonna just sing a song. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then fine. If you want to be a show pony, be a show pony. But that ain't her. Okay, so we have 2 more topics and we are out of here. So let's talk about some drag race beefs. So one of them is Kimchi and Eureka O'Hara apparently are fighting on social media, which I had no idea this was going to be on my bingo card, but here we are. So 2 and True Pulse. So shout out to Out Magazine, well, Out.com for this story, because I didn't even know about it until I happened to see it over on there. So 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race superstars are fighting on social media, and like they said, we didn't all see this coming. Now, on Monday, May 13th, Eureka appeared as a special guest on the Very Delta show hosted by Delta Work, who, you know, used to work not only as a contestant on Drag Race, but used to do, I think she was her wig stylist. But anyway, so it said that when asked about her various experiences in the drag industry, Eureka shared a particular story about doing the Work the World tour along with Drag Race Season 8 star Kim Chi. Now, we do have that clip, and so we're going to play that clip, and then I will come back with the rest of the story, including the clapback from the one and only Kim Chi.
The craziest stuff, I've definitely lost luggage. I remember being on the Work the World tour and I lost my bags. Luckily, I had my makeup and like 2 or 3 wigs, although I got into the biggest fight with Kim Chi.
About what?
I was so pissed at her because I went to her and I was like, do you have anything I could borrow? Like a stretch dress, anything. And this was when she was going through her era of like, I'm not a big girl.
Okay.
And so she was just like, Eureka, I don't have anything in your size. And I was just like, okay, that's delusional because I was also at like a skinnier version of myself. And it was also just, I felt like hateful. You know, it's like, we're sisters, we're on tour together. And I got upset about it and was just like, okay, well, fuck you, girl, you know? And, you know, stormed off and did my thing. And I found this like roll of fabric backstage that I ended up having to host the show. So I just like rolled myself up in it and did that like old toga type gown dress thing. I did This Is Me and like rolled out of it into my panties, bitch, and did my hair removed with potato chips in it just to be extra for the crowd.
See, that's the theater training,
yes,
pageantry
you know,
training, professional drag show training.
Which
it really is.
It was. I ended up getting into a big fight with Bob the drag queen that night because Kim Chi was upset that I was mad. So then Bob comes in there like trying to tell me like how wrong I am, and I was not in the mood. Bitch.
Wow.
So I'm just like, fuck you too. Get out of my dressing room. I hate you all. Rah, 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 rah. You know.
So now you hate all these people.
So I love them now, you know. But and you know, me and Kim Chi took a minute before we were like okay again. But you know, that's how sisters get into it on when we're traveling. But also we had a great time on that same tour. I remember we would play Uno all the time, and the girls would try to get me. This was after that because of course they're like, oh, Eureka's reactionary, so let's like pick at her as much as we can. So they would, you know, there's the blank card. So Bob would like write on the blank card, draw 10 if your name rhymes with Rashrika. You know? So I would get so pissed. I would rip the card up. And then Jiggly's like, you're ripping up my Uno cards. How dare you? And I'm like, well, I quit playing. This is awful. But we would always play again. And it would just be, you know, silly. I can't tell you how many times on that tour I almost missed the bus because I was like partying in an Amsterdam bar, like eating some guy's ass on the toilet. You know what I mean? Like,
were you going to the bathroom while you were eating his ass?
No, we were in the bathroom and he just like, that's where we went to do it. You know, we're in the stall. I had him fully standing on the toilet. So it was like great height, perfect access, you know.
Where's the best trade when you travel? Where have you found the best?
Honestly,
okay, so we if y'all want to hear the rest of that story, then you can go and watch Very Delta, because otherwise we'd be here all day with that. But I just want to get that clip out there about her talking about kimchi. Comes like, Chuck, you seen somebody ass on the toilet? All right, niece. But now look. Now, of course, Kimchi came out and said what she said because it was on Reddit. You know, that this story and everything was coming out. And he said, she said, a queen has decided to tell a fabricated story about me that wait, hold on. Let me actually mirror it so y'all can see it. So it says, a queen has decided to tell a fabricated story about me and my character on a podcast. Little does she know I have the receipts and witnesses. You mess with the wrong bitch. See y'all tomorrow. And no, this is not a joke. I'm not joking, bitch. Remember that? From Drag Race. And you know, oh my God, how did I forget her damn name? You know, when Alyssa was having her little beef. But anyway, it says a queen. Oh, so I already read that. So, girl, if you got the receipts, I'll definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. But and it says that Kimchi has previously engaged in silly and hilarious fake feuds on social media with other Drag Race queens, like when she and Trixie Mattel pretended to be fighting amid launching their BFF Forever makeup collaboration. Now, in those situations, though, it was clear from the start that they really were just kidding. Now, following Eureka's interview on Very That, Kimchi took the X. As you know, we showed what the response and stuff was. They said it was since deleted, but you already know. The minute you put something out there on social media, it is there forever. And yeah, that's that. But then there was another thing that came out on the Twitter where she said the following. She said, the amount of body shaming I received in the last 24 hours over someone's falsely embellished story is actually wild. I didn't want to air out my personal struggles, but I actually suffered from depression and leg injury and have gained a lot of weight. I am doing much better now, getting back into healthier habits and routine. I hope you folks aren't this cruel to fat people in your real daily lives. And the worst part about this, see, this is sad because this is the thing that I hate about the fandom, the Drag Race toxic fandom, is a lot of y'all will go on social media and because you saw an interview that your fave did, what y'all want to do is now you want to go on their social media and bully them. When it's like, can y'all just watch the damn interview and just scream at the TV and keep it moving, or scream at your phone and keep it moving? Why do y'all have to constantly go on people's social media and write negative shit? Because apparently a story that you only heard one side of, you're mad about, or it affected you in some way. So I don't like when people do that. Now, they said a few Drag Race queens have responded to Kimchi's post. Denali wrote, fuck them. Bianca Del Rio and Bimini replied with heart emojis. Now, certain little feuds in Drag Race can be fun and lighthearted to keep up with, but this one does not feel that way at all. Now, I feel like at this point, you know what? At the end of the day, I really hope that Eureka and Kimchi could work out their differences and move forward and all that other stuff, because one of the things I don't like is the fact that these girls are out here fighting, and the fact that we have people on social media who are jumping into a conversation that has nothing to do with them. So some of y'all just watch the interview, stay out of grown people business, and wait at least until you hear all sides. And so now, Kim, if you have receipts and things, I'm looking forward to you putting them receipts out there, and I'll definitely keep you guys in this story as it develops. All right, so now let's get into our final topic, which is Willem talking about her beef with RuPaul. So yeah, so I know I know a lot of y'all probably aren't aware of what was going on and stuff with RuPaul and stuff, but yeah, for over the years, Willem and Ru have always had like a bit of a beef with each other. They haven't necessarily gotten along in a lot of ways. And over the years, like, you know, she was on the show, she got disqualified. You know, they said she broke the rules. We were still trying to figure out what those rule breakings were. We've heard things over the years and all other stuff, but I really never felt like we got a real assessment of what went on. Even Leslie Jones, who was a fan of the show, was like, okay, so what did Willem do? So Willem has explained finally the exact moment that her relationship with RuPaul soured forever. Drag Race Season 4 star and all-around icon, Willem remains the only queen to be disqualified from a season of the show while filming. Now, shout out to Pink News for this story. Now, speaking to All Stars to Alaska Thunderfuck 5000 on the Drag Race Recap podcast Race Chaser and discussing the Season 4 episode Float Your Boat, in which the cast were each given the task of decorating a pride float. Wasn't it oh yeah, that was the one where Jiggly came up with that messy ass float. Willem arrived at the moment when Ru conducted her workroom walkthroughs. She said after Willem said that she felt that she was scoring points after quoting Ru's book directly back at her, always a good move, her Season 5 alumni co-host Alaska asked, so where did it all go wrong? Alaska continued, I was watching and thought, you two have such a rapport, you get along, you have things in common, and she really sees you, and you have respect for each other. Now, Willem, who has never been one to shy away from an honest answer, replied, I think it permanently soured because I know she likes my antics sometimes and thought I was amusing, and other times she didn't. I knew that she lived for me because of past experiences, and she says that I was so happy to get those good critiques from her. Willem was originally believed to have been disqualified for receiving conjugal visits, but in a later interview, the Queen shared, because she said that she has a husband or whatever, and he didn't believe that she was going on shooting some horror movie or whatever the case was, and so he tracked her down and found out where she was. So they said that, but in a later interview, she shared that she had been booted after committing a series of rule violations, including smoking weed, entering restricted areas of the film lot, and stealing props. She has given a full account of her on-set shenanigans on X/Twitter, where it has this one. We see this clip here.
Step forward. What the actual fuck is happening right now? What the actual fuck is happening right now? What is happening? What did Willem do?
What the hell is happening?
What the fuck?
Willem.
Same. Now, shout out to Leslie Jones, child, because she had me look at Dita Ritz, because Leslie Jones's commentary, child, is everything. But anyway, let's continue, and let's continue with the rest of the story. So Willem has spoken further about her personal relationship or lack thereof with RuPaul, claiming that the pair had a shouting match in an LA street in 2018 over the health of a mutual friend. And for those of you who wonder who that mutual friend is, that was I was about to say Lucian Piani, who y'all saw in the picture. See, that's why it threw me off. Matthew Anderson. Now, Matthew Anderson actually used to do, at the time, if you saw that little look that I showed y'all, Matthew Anderson was someone who has done Ru's hair and makeup for years, even before like Drag Race and all this other stuff. So, and I've also knew this team that Matthew Anderson was somebody who, excuse me, when I lived in LA, he used to come to this vintage store that I used to live behind, because it was like the store was in the front, and then the people that owned the store, I rented out a room in their apartment, in their house, because they had a big house, whatever. So I would rent out a part of their house. It was a huge space too. That's one thing I love about LA versus New York. Their spaces are huge. So I wound up living out there, and it was in Silver Lake, and it was a good price too. And so I lived there, but then they would always have like these, it was a vintage shop, and then they would always have comedy specials. That's when Daniel Fred Zizi, a lot of celebrities was there. I also met Jamie, the chick that played, she was on that Netflix show, and she also did, I forgot her last name, but she also played the new Pinhead in the Hellraiser reboot. So she was at one of the parties and stuff that I was at too, that my roommates was throwing at the time. So she said, we have a mutual friend. Well, he's my friend. I don't know that he's her friend anymore. He is not well right now. He's been asking to see her and she hadn't gone to see him. She took care of him for years. He's one of those people that has flown very high and he's had his problems. He hasn't been a saint. They had a bad experience on set together and he was removed from the show. I was deeply offended by that because in the 90s, gay men were pretty much erased from the arts because AIDS wiped us out. It's tragic. I saw this as another erasure of a gay man's contribution to the arts, who's my friend. I think I took a shine to him because he liked me and he saw creativity in me. He knew working with me pissed off Ruco and World of Wonder. Probably kind of similar to people, apparently, Alaska thinks they're pissed at her because she works with Willem. I said, I know he wasn't an angel, and I know that you're paying for him now because she's paying for the care. World of Wonder's taking care of him, but he actually liked to see you. Show some face. And maybe Rue thought that, oh, well, we're taking care of him and all this other stuff, that should be enough. But it's like, okay, money is cute or whatever for that moment, but I need to physically see you. Like, that to me is more important. So RuPaul said, fuck you. I said, fuck you too, bitch. And that basically was apparently the end of it. And one of the things I do have a cackle about is that Willem's studio is literally across the street from World of Wonder. And if you go on my Instagram, you see I did take a picture. When I went to LA, I took a picture in front of World of Wonder. And that was the day that I was doing something at Willem's studio. And so I was like, well, while we wait for Willem's people and stuff to show up, I'm going to run across the street and I'm going to take my little picture in front of World of Wonder. And it's on my Instagram, _. So, and then I have Willem's book. I have it somewhere. I need to find it. But, yeah, so I totally get it. It's like, you know what, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you helped usher me and give me this opportunity because, you know what, Willem was an actor and was working on a lot of other shows, Boston Public, Nip Tuck. He's done a lot of different programs and was doing a lot of TV and stuff. And then came on Drag Race because it was an opportunity for Willem to elevate them, take themselves to the next level. And Drag Race has helped him be able to build the brand that he has built and take it further without having to rely on, oh, I need to get an acting gig on this show or I may dry up with this situation. So RuPaul's Drag Race has definitely helped him in that way of building his other, stuff. But the crazy part about it all is the fact that, it's just like, I'm not going to abandon my friend because whatever he did to y'all on set, then you're mad at him over that. And yeah, we're going to take care of him and we're going to do this, that, and the other, but I don't want you being friends. And first of all, you're not going to tell me who I can and cannot be friends with. Like, that's one thing you're not going to do with me. So I'm glad that we actually got the real tea. That finally it's like, okay, so the disqualification became because she was stealing things. And look, so many other queens since then have told about how they've stolen props and stuff from the set. So why weren't they disqualified? I guess they found out at the last minute. Y'all didn't use some damn super glue so to make sure that people are not walking around stealing the props. But, Willem finally explained why she was eliminated or disqualified or whatever, but y'all had to make up some whole bullshit. Y'all could have just told us the truth and kept it moving. But yeah, and it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I have no respect for you because of the way you treated this person who was there for you and probably was you were probably friends longer with. And now you just pretty much just scarfed them and tossed them aside like they ain't shit. And I can't rock with somebody like that. So shout out to Willem, shout out to Race Chaser. I do love the show. That and I love Meatball in them show too. And Very Delta. There's a lot of great shows in there. Speaking of which, Very Delta is on the Mom podcast. I mean, the Mom channel, the Mom Network, which Willem and Alaska own, which, we talked about in the prior episode. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story down below. I kind of wish that Willem and RuPaul would kind of make bygones be bygones, but everybody got these stories about Rue not being the kindest, and people should be allowed to say what they're going to say. And I have to say, I did live for the commentary of Leslie Jones gagging over the fact that Willem got eliminated or disqualified. She wasn't eliminated, she was disqualified. She was chopped from the show. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Okay, so look, 3.5 hour show. Almost hit that 4-hour mark. We had a lot of topics to talk about today. But anyway, that is the final topic. If y'all have any questions, comments, and concerns, drop it down in the comments before I log off. But while I wait for those to come in, I do want to ask all of you to please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank everybody who has been tuning into the show, the people who are in the comments. I also want to thank all the new subscribers that have come in. I've been getting a lot of subscribers by the day. So thank you all. It means a lot to me that a lot of the new people are coming in are loving the show and supporting the show and commenting in the live feeds and people who leave comments when I edit the show and post the little topics up on the thing. So every comment, every subscription, all that is meaningful. And I definitely appreciate all of you that have been, good, new and not so new who are supporting the show. And those of you who have managed to hold on, and watch the show for the 3.5 hours my ass been up here running my look, it takes a skill to be able to have all that. Like I literally have on the live 5 people on the YouTube channel, 136 people watching me on Twitter, and 1 person in my oh my god, on Twitch. I don't really invest in Twitch that much. I just do the live streams on them. So shout out to all y'all that have been tuning in. I do have some comments. Please hold. Oh, Robert says, have a good night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cheryl J, love you for loving the show. And your love is much appreciated. So thank you all that have been tuning in. Child, I'm probably gonna need a co-host sooner or later, because after a while, 3.5 hours, I've been running my mouth. But then again, look, not all of us can keep y'all entertained like a Wendy Williams. It's very few people that can, do this by themselves or need a panel. So maybe the solo situation is a blessing in disguise. But anyway, love you all for watching. And remember to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also that notification button so that way you know when I go live with a brand new episode. Who knows? I might jump on tomorrow and do a show because I'm sure there's a lot more topics that's going to be coming out throughout the week. This has been a busy week. There's a lot going on. And 2024 is definitely a season where it's just like a lot of craziness has been happening. So shout out to 2024 for making this my year of being able to have enough grist for my mill to run this mouth. So love you all for watching, like I said. And until next time, ciao, darlings.